Hello and welcome into Anchorage Bucs baseball alongside my partner Will Hopkins. Vic Masley here at Mulcahy Stadium for a rainy Monday night where the Bucs will face off against the Oilers. The Bucs come into this game 18 and 10, the Oilers 16 and 16. And as for the Bucs, they're 9 and 2. They were 9 and 2 in June, but they are 7 and 5 this month, 5 and 1 to start July. But since then they have been 2 and 4. That was since July 9th. That 10-4 loss versus the Chinooks after that. Like I said, 2 and 4 this season, 2 and 4 in one-run games in July as well. So the Bucs not doing a good job when it comes to close games. As for the Oilers, they've lost five straight. Will they have been struggling, and they were the top. They're the second team right after us for a large part of the first half of the season. Now the Miners have taken over that with seven straight wins. The Miners just one game back of the Bucs. And like I said, the Bucs have been struggling as of late. Going back to their last game against the Oilers, they won, but that was a 4-3 game, another one-run game, the only one-run games this Bucks team has won. So, Will, to get back in that winning side of things, the Oilers are probably a good team to start out against, considering their struggles against the Miners. But how do the Bucks do it? How do they get back into the winning side, especially with the loss of some players?
Yeah, like you talked about, first of all, super important because, like you said, that lead at the top is getting closer and closer, and the Miners are playing the last place Chinook. So almost expecting them to win. The Bucks could really use a win tonight. And on the bright side, the Oilers are struggling. They've lost 5 games in a row. A lot of blown leads in there. So this is a game where the Bucks, even if the bats aren't hot at the beginning, we could see them get hot later in the game, something that hasn't happened often. And looking at the pitching matchup for Wyatt Halverson, it's really just about being his normal self against the Oilers because we really haven't seen his best stuff against this team.
Yeah, Halverson has struggled in back-to-back outings. He has only gone 3 innings, which is what we're not used to seeing that much from him. July 5th against the Oilers, he went 3 innings, gave up 5 hits and the 2 runs, and that ended up being a loss. He is 0-2 against the Oilers, and that dates back to the first game we played out in the Peninsula where we dropped that game, and Halverson was pitching as well. So, like I said, back-to-back 3 inning pitched in against the Oilers, or excuse me, on the 15th, Halverson went 3 innings, gave up 2 hits, 1 run. That was also a loss. And in that game, he only went 3 innings, but he gave up just a 1 run, and it seemed like the traffic on the bases really got to him. But going back to the Bucks, yesterday was a crushing defeat, going up 3 runs in the first inning, putting up that 3 spot. The team was feeling good, but the Miners pitching staff, Hostetler, just shut the Bucks bats down. No more runs for the rest of the game, and the Miners were able to claw back and win it just by one. To beat the Bucks 4-3. So we'll get into Wyatt Halverson. We'll talk about Mose Hayes, the starter for the Oilers, and his first start for ABL baseball. We'll talk about those two. We'll get into starting lineups and more after this break. Welcome back to Mulcahy Stadium. Like we mentioned earlier, Wyatt Howerson versus Mose Hayes. And for Mose Hayes, this is his first start in ABL play. He's come out of the bullpen 5 times, so 5 appearances for him. He is 2-0, has 2 decisions because he pitches so many innings. As a long reliever, I would deem him. 18 innings pitched, 12 hits, 3 earned runs, a 150 ERA, and that's one of the lowest for the Oilers, and is actually second lowest for, I would say, the guys that they mostly pitch with is definitely the second lowest, or excuse me, that is the lowest. A 1.59 ERA for Cody News, pitched about 4 more innings with him. So that 1.50 ERA for Mose Hayes is the lowest on the team in terms of, I would say, over 3 innings pitched for the Oilers. And for Mose Hayes, like I mentioned, 2 2-inning games, but besides that, 2 5-inning games and 1 4-inning games. And versus the Bucs back on June 29th, that was out in the Peninsula, he got the win, pitched 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And that was right during the Bucs trying to make that big comeback down in the Peninsula. That was the final game. The Bucs lost 9-8 on a heartbreaker, a base hit into left field, and then Christian Powell was tagged out to end that series. The Bucs ended up falling 3 games out of 5 versus the Oilers down in the Peninsula. The Oilers are 8-10 this month, so they have struggled. 5-game win streak turned into a 5-game losing streak, which they're riding right now, and Hayes trying to get them out of it. For Mose Hayes, his last start was July 19th. That was against the Glacier Pilots. Just went 2 innings, like I said, out of the bullpen, 2 hits, no runs. So a good outing for him, but has not pitched a lot this month. Just those or excuse me, had a 4 inning pitched against the Bucs. That was July 5th. So has just pitched those 6 innings this month. But the past 2 games, besides that last one versus the Glacier Pilots, have been against these very Bucs, where he has gone 9 total innings, given up 6 total hits, and 2 runs. So he has been really sharp for this Oilers team, and he should be really good against the Bucs again.
Yeah, he's pitched against the Bucs 3 times in total, totaling 11 innings and just 3 earned runs. We'll get into throughout the game how certain guys in the Bucs lineup have fared against him, but not a lot of success to speak of. And it's really incredible how long Hayes has gone in some of these relief appearances, and because of that, not very surprising to see him being used as a starter now for the first time this season.
And not at all. And on the other side, for the same thing for Mose Hayes, well, Wyatt Halverson has faced the Oilers a couple of times, and yes, he is 0-2. So 2 very different outcomes. You see, I guess Halverson has struggled the most against the Oilers in terms of the other teams he's faced. But for Mose Hayes, he's done really good against the Bucs, and in terms of the whole season, has done good against pretty much everyone he's faced off against. So yes, both of them have seen each other's lineup a good bit, but they have different records going into this game.
Yeah, for Hayes, it's a win and a save in 3 appearances against the Bucs. As for Halverson, it's 0-2 in 2 starts against the Oilers. The first one was back out on the Peninsula on the 27th of June, pitching 4 innings, giving up 3 earned runs. And then here on the 5th, a 2-1 Bucs loss, just 3 innings. And for Halverson, loading the bases in the first inning, got out of it with just 1 run scored, but it was too much to handle. That actually not against the Oilers. That was the last time out. That was against the Miners on the 15th. Only 3 innings pitched that time as well. That 1 run in the first. It was a fielder's choice with the bases loaded, nobody out. That was there was nobody out, and he only gave up 1 run. It was a fielder's choice, I believe, with 1 out for that second out. And you thought it was a great success to get out of that first inning with just 1 run given up. But in the end, that was a 1-0 game that the Miners took. So that 1 run was enough. And unfortunately for Halverson, that first inning really worked up his pitch count, and that's why he only went 3 innings.
Yeah, and it's been a shame. Those back-to-back starts with just 3 innings for Halverson is not what we're used to seeing out of him. But in terms of the rest of the pitchers for the Bucs, he's definitely given up, I would say, more. He does have a higher ERA, but what we're used to seeing is a lot of strikeouts, but he will trade a lot of those strikeouts in exchange for 2 or 3 run games, which we've seen from him. Before that, he had back-to-back 4-inning starts, and he gave up 3 runs in each of those 2 starts.
Yeah, 39 strikeouts in league play. That leads the entirety of the ABL. Now, for the guys that he'll be looking to strike out, we'll give you the Peninsula Oilers lineup. The typical leadoff guy, P.D. Soto Jr., will play shortstop with Cole Dawson at third base, batting second, and Colin Robson rounding out the top 3 in center field. Zachary Ferris will start at first base. He'll bat fourth with Max Rothberg right behind him in the lineup, and right next to him on the field at second base. Cody New will bat sixth and serve as the designated hitter, with Cole Wilson in left field batting seventh. Brock Worthgen behind the plate batting eighth, and Aiden Sullivan in right field batting ninth. This, of course, with Mose Hayes on the mound. So it's Soto Jr., Dawson, and Robson Ferris, Rothberg, and New, Wilson, Worthgen, and Sullivan. As for the Anchorage Bucs, Max Ross once again in center field, leading things off, fresh off the home run yesterday. Cole Carlone will be the designated hitter, batting second, with Ryan Callahan in left field, batting third. Tommy Eisenstadt will bat cleanup, and he'll play first base with Josh Hankins across the diamond at third base, batting fifth. Peyton Knowles will bat sixth. He's playing second base tonight. And then leading off the bottom three, Brody Briggs behind the plate, batting seventh. Riley Hunsaker batting eighth in right field, and Will Burns at the bottom of the lineup playing shortstop, of course, with Wyatt Halverson on the mound. So once again, that's Ross, Carlone, and Callahan, Eisenstadt, Hankins, and Knowles, Briggs, Hunsaker, and Burns. And we'll now give you the PA announcer as some young local baseball players will come out with the Anchorage Bucs. Good to see that involvement, so we'll give you the audio.
Number 92, Darren Pennington, and number 34, Max Peterson. Batting fourth, the first baseman from Gonzaga, number 29, Tommy Eisenstadt. Filling out with Eisenstadt, number 2, Gunnar Alex. Batting fifth, the third baseman from Gonzaga, number 6, Josh Hankins. Filling out with Hankins, number 70, Greg Steiner. And number 44, Jack Masson. At sixth, the second baseman from Gonzaga, number 25, Peyton Knowles. Going out with Knowles, number 9, Wes Kelly. At seventh, the catcher from Arizona State University, number 5, Brody Briggs. Going out with Briggs, number 99, Crosby Dice. And number 20, Chase Sutton. And making right fielder from USC, number 1, Robbie Hunsaker. Going out Hunsaker, number 23, Lane Swanson. And batting the shortstop from Texas Tech University, number 9, Will Burns. Going out with Burns, number 24, Mason Nevin. And pitching tonight from Arizona State University, number 36, Wyatt Halverson. Going out with Halverson, number 19, Noah McGarrett. At this time, asking you please rise, face the flag in left field, and join us in honoring America with the playing of the national anthem.
Hope you enjoyed the player intros and the anthem. And now Wyatt Halverson will start his warm-up tosses for the Bucs. 6'3", 220, a rising sophomore out of Arizona State University from Scottsdale, Arizona. Big number 36 with Brody Briggs behind the plate catching for him. Tommy Eisenstadt at first, Peyton Knowles at second, Will Burns at short, Josh Hankins at third, Ryan Callahan in left, Max Ross in center, and Riley Hunsaker in right field. The Bucs coming into this one 5-4 against the Oilers, 3-1 here at Mulcahy Stadium. Bucs coming off of a loss yesterday, 4-3 against the Miners. Miners scoring that 4th run in the 9th inning after the Bucs scored 3 in the first. And in the last 4 games, the Bucs haven't scored a single run past the first inning. 3 in the first in each of their last 2 games, and then shutouts the 2 previous to that. As for the Oilers, like we talked about, coming off of 5 straight losses. It was a doubleheader sweep yesterday at the hands of the Chinooks. And then prior to that, it was a walk-off loss. And the game before that, they were no hit. So it's really been a rough stretch for the Oilers. Hopefully, the Bucs can take advantage. The Bucs sporting the black tops with the white pinstripe pants. As for the Oilers, it will be their red tops. Looking towards the Oilers lineup, specifically in this first inning, it'll be Soto, Dawson, and Robson. Pretty typical top 3 for them. And it's big that Halverson has a short and successful first inning. We talked about the struggles last time out, which even though it was only 1 run, just a ton of pitches that shortened his outing. First time against the Oilers, it was a 3-run first. So definitely a key inning. Soto is 0 for 3 against Halverson, but he does have a couple of walks. As for Dawson and Robson, 2 for 5 and 3 for 4 respectively. A couple bunt singles for each of them mixed in there, so he'll have to be conscious of that, as will Hankins, Eisenstadt, and Briggs. But hopefully he can take care of that top 3, have a clean, quick first inning, and then be cruising right along. Hopefully we get 9 innings in as the rain is beginning to fall. But it looks like we'll be on time for first pitch just a few minutes after 6 o'clock as Brody Briggs made the throw down to second. P.D. Soto makes his way into the box, and Vic Massio makes his way onto the mic.
Thank you, Will. Like you said, P.D. Soto and Cole Dawson, Colin Robson due up first for the Oilers, and it would be huge for a 1-2-3 inning from Halverson, and not just that, but first couple runs scored for the Bucs just to get out on the good note. In the first pitch is a called strike, and we're underway at Mulcahy Stadium. A rainy night here in Anchorage. Just yesterday, bright blue skies, temperatures in the low 70s. It's nowhere near that tonight as a called strike on the upper part of the zone to P.D. Soto. Bucs have been scoring first the last couple of games, but they just have not been able to add on as that one misses upstairs. So more important, I guess, not just this first inning, but how the Bucs respond after the first inning and how they can score runs in the middle frames. Next one, swung on and missed. Halverson has his first strikeout. P.D. Soto watched just one ball go by, but Halverson looked way ahead and way in front that whole at bat.
And last time these two teams faced off, or at least with Halverson on the mound, Soto struck out looking twice in his only 2 appearances to the plate against Halverson, and now Halverson starts him with a swinging strikeout.
So that'll bring up Cole Dawson, the third baseman for the Oilers. He watches that one downstairs. Dawson, this season for the Oilers, is the 3rd most at-bats, just under 100. Batting .247, 17 walks to 20 strikeouts. Only driven in 5 runs, though. That one's a called strike on the outer half. Halverson painting that corner nicely. P.D. Soto, just 2 RBIs. I know he's a leadoff batter, but that is a little bit troublesome, you have to say, for one of your best players. At least on the field, 1-1, misses upstairs.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Even if you're batting leadoff, you'd think with that many plate appearances, you'd have more. But like we said, huge that Halverson has a clean first. The Oilers scored 2 runs in the first inning of Game 2 of that doubleheader yesterday.
2-1, another called strike.
Left the door open, though. 2 runs in the first in response from the Chinooks, and then 1 in the 5th and 1 in the 6th. That coming off the heels of Game 1, where they led 7-6 through 3. 2 runs in the 6th for the Chinooks.
That one a called strike 3 to Cole Dawson. And he looks confused heading back to the dugout. Halverson was just hammering that outside part of the plate and freezes Cole Dawson. So back-to-back strikeouts, 1 looking, 1 swinging, will bring up Colin Robson. He is the team leader in average, is Rax Rothberg. I apologize about that. Colin Robson is behind him, though, 297, but Rothberg batting 326, a big swing and a miss. And I'm just confused because we normally see Rothberg not batting in the top 3, yet he has a 326 average. And like I just said, Colin Robson has the next best with just under 300 at 297. So interested in why they don't bat Max Rothberg up in the lineup more.
Yeah, it is interesting for sure. This is a team that doesn't move their lineup around much, but just to finish off the point about their doubleheader, they were leading by a run and then gave that up in the 6th and then gave up 4 more runs in the 7th inning.
1-1 called strike that time on the outside corner to the lefty Robson. And that's what makes Halverson so good, is able to pound the outside part of the plate to righties, and then next at bat do the same just for a lefty. 1-2. Up and outside. Will Burns has started batting in the lower half of the Bucs order, speaking of changing orders or lineups, but now is batting dead last in the 9-hole. So interested to see how he'll fare there. 2-2 misses upstairs.
Well, yesterday we saw Max Ross lead things off with Riley Hunsaker batting 9th, trying to get a little of that speed back-to-back when the order comes around for the second time. And if Burns can get on, that'd be a lot of speed on the bags with a speedy Max Ross at the plate.
We'll have to see that in the bottom half of the inning. Hopefully Halverson can get us there now. 3-2 pitch is downstairs. We'll have to face Zachary Ferris to try to get out of this first inning, and his first inning hopes of a 1-2-3 are spoiled.
Ferris has only faced off against Halverson for one AB. That was a single. Interestingly, 6, 7, and 8 tonight. New, Wilson, and Worthgen have not faced off against Halverson, but hopefully we'll be talking about Rothberg and those few guys in the second inning.
Ferris batting at the Mendoza line at 200. 14 hits and 70 at-bats. First pitch he sees from Halverson, misses downstairs.
And for Halverson, it's been a pretty clean inning, but 16 pitches because of those strikeouts, the long AB to Robson where he worked the walk. Would love to see him get deeper into this game than we've seen lately.
And because we're getting later into the season, you definitely want to see guys utilize their pitches wisely, and we want to see them last as long as they can, because innings limit comes into effect, sure, in the next week or so for some of these starting pitchers, especially for Halverson, guys like Carlone too, who pitch at big schools.
And some players departing, namely Brody Purcell. That's a bullpen arm you can't rely on as he's departed.
1-0 gets a piece of it foul.
Bucs have been losing a lot of guys. Zane Kelly is injured. He'll be going home, unfortunately, for the rest of the season. Cade Lacey left Anchorage yesterday. A couple of guys are going to be going in the next week or so as well.
Yeah, at least 4 to 5 guys that we're hearing of right now are heading home, and don't want to give you all the names because we don't know when exactly they'll be heading home. And of course, as sure as we are, we're not 100%, but we are the ones that we just listed for sure, because they're either leaving now or they're leaving in the next couple of days. But definitely will be a thinner lineup. If you go look on the stat sheet right now, a couple names are already off of it, and it is a really light position player group that is on that stat sheet right now. Runner goes, 1-1, and they shoot it through the hole. Will Burns was having to cover second, so that's going to be a base knock for Zachary Ferris, now first and second with 2 down.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate, because I think Burns might be able to make that play if Robson isn't going with the pitch, and understandable why Halverson was so worried about Robson over there, second in the ABL in stolen bases, now up to 16, 3 behind Drake Kerr, but Halverson didn't get the strongest contact from Ferris, but good job by Ferris just placing it that time.
So that'll bring up Max Rothberg. Noted he has the best average on the team, and he's been hitting the ball really well this summer. Like I said, surprised he doesn't bat towards the top 3 in the order. First pitch he sees called strike on the outer half. That outer half has been given to Halverson almost every pitch. Wouldn't be surprised if he utilizes that against Max Rothberg.
Not only does Rothberg have the highest batting average on the team, he has the highest batting average in the league.
Yeah, 326. I was about to mention that's got to be up there, but I know Carlone is up there too, but he has fallen a little bit, now down to 313. 0-1. That gets away from Briggs. Racing to third is Robson, and heading into second is Ferris. And that's a tough one because it was off the mitt of Briggs. It looked like he kind of had it in there, but was not the best pitch from Halverson. Could really go either way.
Yeah, I think that's one that Briggs would like to have, but it's still a little bit wild from Halverson. So it will go down as a wild pitch.
So the force out is gone, but there are still 2 down, so anything will do. Halverson set. A 1-1 count to Rothberg. Here it is. Cold strike on the outer half.
And if you're Rothberg, you kind of got to know at this point that's going to be called a strike.
See if he changes his approach, tries to hit it opposite field into right. Will score 1 run for sure. And depending on how Ferris can get around third base, could score 2. Halverson ahead in the count. 1-2 pitch. Cold strike 3 on the outer half. Halverson went a little bit more out there and still gets the call. So works around the 2-out walk and 2-out base hit. We head to the bottom half of the first. Nothing doing for the Oilers, but the Bucs coming up when we come back. Welcome back. Bottom half of the first inning. Nothing doing for the Oilers. Halverson works around a 2-out walk and a 2-out base hit. And that will bring up Max Ross, Cole Carlone, and Ryan Callahan, the top 3 for the Bucs, against Mose Hayes, who has looked really good against Anchorage this season. He's looked really good in general, sub-2 ERA.
3 earned runs across 11 innings against these Bucs. Max Ross 0 for 3 with a walk against him. Faced off against him on the 25th and the 29th, not the 5th of July.
Cold strike.
Josh Hankins of the Bucs lineup tonight, the most successful against Hayes. Riley Hunsaker, the only man in the lineup who has not faced him so far this season.
Starts out Max Ross 0-1. The next one is downstairs. Halverson utilized that outside part of the strike zone on righty batters and did use it a little bit on Ferris, who is the lefty hitter, and it has been pretty generous. So the heavy lefty lineup for the Bucs, they might not have to worry about that call. That one is outside. Looked like a similar pitch, just mirrored on the other side. That one that took care of Max Rothwerk.
Yeah, that last strike was a little bit further outside, but if you're Halverson, if he's giving you the outside call, why not see how far you can stretch it?
2 balls, 1 strike. Hayes brings the offering, and that one is in the dirt and gets past Worthkin. Ross, in his first at-bat back since July 3rd yesterday, a solo homer to lead it off for the Bucs. And even getting put in the leadoff spot coming back from that long is a big telltale sign that they trust Max Ross, and of course it paid off. 3-1 pitch. That one misses, and it'll be a leadoff walk to start for the Bucs. And we remind you that the Bucs have scored in the leadoff innings the past 2 games, but have been unable to maintain that lead, at least yesterday. But against the Oilers back on the 18th, they scored 3 runs and never really looked back, and were fortunate to get the victory just by 1 run, though. That one came very, very close at the end.
Bunch of teams in this league, Bucs, Miners, Oilers of late, playing a ton of close games.
Now Cole Carlone steps in, takes that one outside, and you could just tell that the pitchers have definitely settled in, and you can tell that those splits between the hitter's average and I would say pitcher's ERA is definitely a bigger gap now in July than it was in June. I mean, think about going back to the Miners, a 10-9 victory against them. 1-0 pitches outside. Can you imagine the Miners pitching staff right now giving up 9 runs? I couldn't imagine them giving up more than 4 or 5.
I mean, the Bucs lead the league in batting average, which is down to 229. That's atop the league. And earlier in the season, that is not what we're seeing. The Bucs were in the 280s or so, and even second was 230, 240, but not the case anymore.
2 balls, no strikes to Carlone. Pitch from Hayes misses outside. 3-0. Hayes has not been the best in these first 2 batters with his command. Just 1 strike to Max Ross. Ross speedy over there at first base. Can expect him to try to snag a bag. He stays put. 3-0 is a called strike on the outer half. That was a pitch that was given to Halverson back in the top half of the first. Just to Zachary Ferris, though, is the only lefty he saw.
Wouldn't expect Ross to go here only because Hayes has struggled so much to find the zone, and you don't want to run into an out.
Checks back at first. Ross is in there.
Even if this is called a strike, who's to say that the next pitch would be?
Three balls, 1 strike on Carlone. Bucs approach, not necessarily score first and early, but just to maintain the scoring. And that one's a swing and a miss by Carlone. Takes a second, collects himself.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Ross going here, though. Would be, one, there's a chance of Carlone getting walked, and obviously there is the chance of the strike him out, throw him out double play, but if Carlone can put this one in play, Ross being on the move could break up a double play as well.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Ross goes, the pitch downstairs, the throw does not matter. And a good call up here in the booth by Will Hopkins. Carlone takes his bag, and there'll be no attempt to get Max Ross at second, of course.
Feels good to get it right every once in a while. You know what they say, a broken clock is right twice a day.
Well, you're lucky to be right once a day. So Ryan Callahan steps in, both Bucs batters reaching via the walk. Rose Hayes struggling with his command a little bit. But we don't want to get too upbeat here in the booth. Just because Hayes doesn't look locked in right now doesn't mean he can't find his groove. I mean, Hostetler, after a 3-run frame in the first, settled in, a bunch of goose eggs left, and he didn't come out till the 7th inning, right?
Yeah, and if Hayes' previous games against the Bucs and just in general tell us anything, this is only the start of his start. He could go very deep into this game. We've seen him do it in relief, so who's to even say how long he could go as a starter?
1 ball, no strikes. Ross at second, Carlone at first. Callahan squares the bunt, lays down a really good one. Hayes struggling to get to it. He's going to have to put it in his back pocket. And Ryan Callahan lays down a beauty of a bunt. That looked like a little chip in off the green where he just spun it back because that ball was heading out and it just kind of crept back away from Mose Hayes and towards Worthkin, who had no chance at making it.
And Callahan definitely not the biggest prospect to bunt for a hit. We know there are definitely some speedier guys on the Bucs, but it doesn't matter how fast you are, and he's not particularly slow to say at all, but if you place a bunt perfectly, there's not a lot of defense for it.
So that'll bring up Tommy Eisenstadt. First pitch he sees is a called strike. And not sure if Cole Dawson was up. I assume he wasn't really up on the play. That's why I think the Bucs coaching staff wanted Callahan to lay it down. Oilers, having faced the Bucs now, this is the 10th time these two teams have faced off. I'm sure that they have the scouting report on Callahan and probably didn't really expect him to lay down a bunt, so that definitely helped too. 0-1 to Eisenstadt, rocket into right field, down for a base hit. Ross scores easily. Carlone gonna get the red light. It's an RBI single for Tommy Eisenstadt, and the Bucs are up 1-0.
Really good work by Eisenstadt. Hit that ball hard. Wasn't trying to do too much. Was just trying to get it down in the outfield, and he did exactly that. Also, like Coach Sanagorski giving that stop sign, no outs so far this inning. Hayes has struggled with his command. Don't want to gift him an out.
Absolutely, and that one not hit super hard by Eisenstadt, but he lifted it over the infield, and it got over pretty quickly. And what I'm saying is it got to Sullivan fairly fast, and that is why Carlone couldn't score. If that one was on the ground with that same type of speed, Carlone might have a chance. But of course, with nobody out and Mose Hayes' lack of command, might as well not push their luck. So Josh Hankins takes a ball outside. A great stop by Brock Worthgen.
Really good stop, and that RBI single from Eisenstadt moves him into a tie for second with Max Ross with 11 on the season. Andrew Lamb and Cole Carlone at the top with just one more, 12. So tie for third, I guess.
One ball, no strikes to Hankins with the bases loaded and nobody out. A one-run lead already for the Bucs. That one's a called strike. Went on the outer part of the plate. Hankins dipping his head back. He knows that that's not a strike, but he also knows that he's got to be competitive with it.
And he's also got to know, hey, Wyatt Alverson was getting that call against righties the whole first top half of this inning. That's going to be called a strike on that outside corner to righties.
One ball, one strike. The offering from Hayes is fouled back over our heads. Bucs so far 5-4 against the Oilers. So for the Oilers, they're just looking to even up that season series. Of course, we were talking earlier, Will, you mentioned that it would probably go to head-to-head if the teams were tied at the end of the season. But if you're also tied in head-to-head, then I wonder what it goes to.
Yeah, maybe run differential, either in total or in those head-to-head games. We'll definitely have to find out, or hopefully the Bucs can take care of business and make it 6-4 on the season. Last time these two teams will play in regular season play. Bucs 3-1 against the Oilers here at Mulcahy Stadium after losing that series on the Peninsula 3-2.
1-2 to Hankins. Beautiful breaking ball, and he swings and misses at that. That one really tough to get a piece of lumber on it, and Hankins unfortunately couldn't do so. So the first out is the swinging strikeout to Josh Hankins. That'll bring up the lefty Peyton Knowles. And coming into that Peninsula series, the Bucs had only faced the Oilers one time, and now they're the first team that the Bucs have faced all 10 times. And that's just really weird because it seems like we've been playing the Oilers left and right. We played the Miners and Chinooks and Pilots, a sprinkle here and there, but it seems like it's always come back to the Oilers. So called strike to Peyton Knowles, and then now, of course, being that this is the last game, we won't see them for a long time. Might not see them at all.
Yeah, might not see them at all. Definitely two teams that will almost 100% make the playoffs, but with the way the format is, no guarantees of them playing each other.
No balls, one strike to Peyton Knowles. Mose Hayes taking his time out on the mound to get signs and to deliver the pitch. Now, ready? Nice breaking ball, and has that command of the breaking ball. We didn't see really throw it much to the first three batters. I wonder why.
Yeah, it's been easier for him to locate than his fastball, so he might have to start pitching backwards. Took care of Hankins, and we were talking about him taking a while to bring it home. I think that bothered Hankins. We saw him call time, and Peyton Knowles trying to stay in the box and get on his own rhythm.
Down the count, 0-2, the pitch. Called strike three on the outer half. Peyton Knowles doesn't like it too much, but if Howerson's getting those calls on the other side of the plate, it only makes sense that Hayes is getting him on the left side.
And we know this home plate umpire, a pretty authoritative strike three, called it. It was interesting in the top of the inning. I think he may have forgotten to count because he just put his fist up in front of him for a strike three call that time. A little sidewinding, looking like the Notre Dame mascot almost with his fists up.
So Brody Briggs bats with two down all of a sudden. Bases still loaded, but back-to-back Ks for Mose Hayes has him one out away from getting out of it. First pitch he throws is a called strike, and the umpire's got to be careful because he's got Brody Briggs up there. And, Briggs is the type of guy who definitely does not forget what calls go against him, and that one definitely going to try to get it against a lefty Oilers batter up and outside corner.
Even with that one-run scoring, you got to add on here. Such a good opportunity.
0-1. That one's low.
Got to give credit to Hayes, though. He really flipped a switch in his command after those first few batters. But we talked about it in the first game against the Oilers when just a few days ago, when the Bucs left the bases loaded in the first inning, even after already plating 3. You'd love to just see them add on, and such a good opportunity with the bases full of Bucks.
1-1 pitch. A little tapper, going to be a tough play. Cole Dawson fields, throws, and he gets the out. Brody Briggs cannot deliver another run for the Bucks. They will just settle with the 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, but 3 Bucks stranded. We head to the second inning. Score 1-0, Bucks lead. Top half of the second inning, Wyatt Halverson back out there. Climbing into the batter's box is Cody New. It'll be him, Cole Wilson, and Brock Worthkin. 6, 7, and 8. Halverson last inning got 2 strikeouts, then a walk and a single, then his 3rd strikeout. So struck out the side, but a walk and a single in between. First pitch to Cody New is fouled out of play.
And all 3 guys due up this inning. No plate appearances against Halverson. And those are the only 3 guys in the lineup that can say that. So should be an interesting inning to see how Halverson attacks them.
Oh, 1 misses up and away, and just a missed opportunity last inning with those bases loaded, nobody out. Just could get that 1 run in, and of course Sanagorski probably feeling like, oh, maybe I should have sent that runner, but of course he had no idea of knowing that that would have been the only run that they get that inning, as that one's a called strike.
Yeah, I mean, I understood the move when he made it, and just would have loved to see the Bucks put the ball in play a little bit more.
And a huge swing and a miss from Cody New. I shouldn't say huge, that was an excuse me swing. And Wyatt Halverson made that look ugly.
Real ugly. And I think it was pretty obvious that time that Cody New did not know what he was getting from Wyatt Halverson, probably looking for that heater, and instead got something off speed.
Yeah, slowed that bat way down. And it will bring up Cole Wilson. Big swing and a miss at the first pitch he sees.
There's that fastball.
Yeah, sped him up with the fastball. And because the Bucks have been scoring, or struggling to score later than the first inning, you might see Sanagorski make some bold decisions with runners coming around third. Is that one a big swing and a miss again? That fastball looks lively.
Yeah, Wilson looked really late on that.
100%. And for Halverson, might be smart. Keep going with that fastball. See what he does here. Briggs setting up upstairs. Check swing. Did he go? No, says the first base umpire. That was close, but probably the best call.
Yeah, it did seem really close. And honestly, I would keep throwing the fastball to Wilson because he just hasn't been able to catch up to it. Don't slow it down for him.
1-2. Spikes that fastball, looked like. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Would be interested to see if the Bucks have a guy at second base and a sharp base hit instead of holding the runner at third. Maybe send him home with the lack of runs coming around. 2-2 called strike three. Wilson knew it. Halverson definitely knew it. And how about all your outs being the strikeouts?
There's a reason Wyatt Halverson leads the ABL in strikeouts this season, and in all honesty, it would be even higher if he could have some of those shorter innings in terms of pitch count. Off to a good start here. Would love to see a 1-2-3 after he was unable to do so in the first.
Seems like the runs that he gives up are usually just longer innings, and he's not imploding, I would say, is a called strike to Brock Worthgen, but actually the opposite. Just a walk here and there, a long at bat ends up in a base hit, and next thing you know, he's given up 1 or 2 runs, but it seems like he's thrown 30, 40 pitches. That one's in the dirt for a ball.
Yeah, no, he's definitely struggling less with giving up runs and more with just keeping that pitch count down. His ERA is solid coming in to play, 4.13, and now even lower through these 5 outs.
1-1 upstairs, and it's only in the 4s, not because of the runs he's given up, but because of the innings he's pitching and the runs, because he's gone 3 innings twice now. He's given up 1 run in each of those, so that's not going to help the ERA much. 2-1 is a called strike, and he's 1 pitch away.
We've seen him have his last inning looking solid or getting out of a jam, and would love to see him come back out, but obviously whether it's a decision from just the Bucs coaches or kind of some guidance about pitch count coming into the season, those longer innings keeping him from going deeper and having some more scoreless innings.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch is in the dirt. Count runs full. Last time he got into a 3-2 count, it was to Colin Robson where he gave up that walk. But he's been in long counts in the first couple of innings, up to about 35, 36 pitches for Halverson. He's ready, the 3-2 pitch, and just gets a piece of it foul. Wind blowing directly in from left field. Rain still steadily pouring on the field. Not too bad, probably can't even notice it with our camera. Full count pitch, here it is, swung on and missed. Wyatt Halverson takes care of the Oilers and strikes out the side once again, but this time a 1-2-3 inning, 6 Ks for Wyatt Halverson as we head to the bottom half of the second inning. Still 1-0 Bucs. Bottom half of the second inning, the Bucs still lead at 1-0, and Wyatt Halverson with 6 more strikeouts to add to his large tally on the season, Will.
Up to 45 strikeouts in 26 innings. That's good for a 15.57 strikeouts per 9 innings. To put that into context, although he doesn't qualify for the lead in that, some of the other guys towards the top in strikeouts who are still behind Halverson are sitting around 9, 10 strikeouts per 9. 15.57.
Riley Hunsaker leads off the Bucs. looking to add on to their 1-0 lead. Called strike and just missed opportunities, bases loaded, nobody out. Eisenstadt was the last man to reach with that RBI single that scored Max Ross, and Hankins Knowles retired with a strikeout. Brody Briggs grounded out, and that eliminated the threat. Jose Hayes doing a good job of working around the Bucs, and just when you thought the Bucs might have a big crooked number to put up in the first, he limits the damage, and would be awful to see for as a Bucs perspective to see him really settle in. The Bucs just go blanks for the rest of the game. That's what happened with Hostetler just yesterday versus the Bucs, and what happened against the Bucs against the Oilers just about 3 days before that.
Yeah, especially knowing how long Hayes can go in these games. Definitely don't want him to settle in on a permanent basis.
Has not started a game before. 2-1 pitches swung on and missed, but has gone 5 innings twice, 2 innings twice, and 4 innings once. So can at least go 4 or 5 innings. But did start this inning with just 20 pitches, really. So made efficient work even after the 2 walks to Ross and Carlone, as Hunsaker hits this high to center field, but it's going to hang up there for Colin Robson, who brings it in for out number 1.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of balls hit to the outfield. Obviously, no outs in play from the Oilers, but for the Bucs, 2 strikeouts and a ground out. So these outfielders not been super busy.
And Will Burns steps in. Weird seeing him at the bottom of the order, a guy that has been a mainstay towards the middle of the lineup, being a cleanup batter or a 5-hole hitter, and we've seen him at the top leading it off too, and now moving down to the 9 spot as that one misses low and away, and just his struggles unfortunately continue. Did pick up a hit yesterday, but it's just not been the same since that first couple of weeks to start the season.
Maybe matching his jersey number with his batting spot will give him some good luck.
1-0, swing and a miss from number 9. Right now, Will Burns still has the most at-bats on the team with 92 coming into this game, but average down to 207. It was a little bit lower than that, but with the base hit, it brings it up. Those 25 strikeouts lead the team. No one else has above 10 now, with some players leaving. 1-1, squares to bunt, pulls it back, and it's a strike.
And for Burns, not a ton of success against Hayes. You can say that about a lot of Bucs hitters. 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts for Burns.
Down the count, 1-2. Infield pretty straight up. Crawford deep in the hole at second, though. 1-2, and it's a called strike 3. That one on the outer half of the plate, but Will Burns probably knew after that call from the home plate umpire that that's a pitch that's been called all day.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough for these batters, especially the righties. The pitchers, I'm sure, are absolutely loving it. See if the lefty, Max Ross, can continue his great play.
A walk and a run scored. He was the first and only run to come across last inning. Bats with 2 down here as he leads off the top of the order. Cold strike to him, and rain's still coming down. Nothing too bad. Definitely can play in this weather. He's looking for his first 1-2-3 inning to follow up Halverson's, and a big swing and a miss from Max Ross, who looked really early on that pitch.
Yeah, not sure what that was. Didn't see a ton of break on it. Maybe a changeup, or maybe just tough to see from here, a curveball or slider with more vertical than horizontal break, so it's tough to pick up from behind on plate. Whatever it was, Max Ross, not the best read on it.
Gonna have to work back here, down 0-2. Hayes set the pitch, just a bit outside. Wind has died down a little bit. Oilers have lost 5 straight coming into this matchup versus the Bucs. The Bucs been 2-4 since July 9th. At 10-4 loss against the Chinooks, leaving a bad taste in the mouths of the Bucs ever since. 1-2. Downstairs, count evens up. Deuces wild on a rainy, overcast night here in Anchorage. We were just in store for a big week of sunny and blue skies, but that is not the case, at least today. I think it looks pretty good the next couple days. Maybe I'm wrong. 2-2. That's outside.
Yeah, I was hoping we kind of turned a permanent corner, but obviously not the case.
Rain deterring some fans from the grandstand seats, most people under the overhang below us. Full count pitch coming to Max Ross, doing a good job of working it all the way back into his favor, and that one is down and in. Another walk for Max Ross, and he spoils the 1-2-3 for Mose Hayes.
Yeah, he's just been getting on base a ton since he got back into the lineup yesterday. Wasn't on base his first time because he came all the way around. Actually skipped second base, had to go back and touch up, but also had a single yesterday in addition to that home run, and then 2 walks so far. We saw him go with a 3-2 pitch to Carlone. Pitch was called a ball, so not sure if he would have made it, but just goes to show that Bucs are not afraid to send him.
Well, Carlone, a walk in his first at-bat, or his first plate appearance as well, had 2 walks yesterday. Came around to score once back in the first inning. First pitch he sees is a nice breaking ball for a called strike. Brody Briggs also with 2 walks. Max Ross the only one with 2 base hits, and he hadn't played since July 3rd. So a really good game for him. Unfortunately, Bucs just couldn't get the win against the Miners. Jose's going to check on Max Ross, but he's in there safely. Cole Wilson is super far back in left field. I'm wondering if they are just preparing for a potential opposite field gapper from Carlone. Not on this at bat necessarily, but they know his power to the opposite field, I'm sure. 0-1 misses outside.
They're so worried about that power to the opposite field. A little bit surprised to see Hayes pitching him to the outer part of the plate. You're almost asking for it, and it's also interesting that Soto is so close to the second base bag. Obviously has to be ready to cover a stolen base attempt, but pretty big gap over there for Carlone to take advantage of, especially if Hayes is going to pitch him outside.
1-1, Ross goes, pitches outside. The throw down there is not in time. Max Ross has a stolen bag.
Yeah, just like I said, Soto hugging towards second, maybe expecting Ross to run, and didn't even end up mattering how close he was to second. Throw not in time for the speedy Ross.
And a good throw by Worthgen. It was to the first base part of this second base bag, and it's where you want to throw it. A little bit too far towards first base, but Max Ross was in there in plenty of time. So a runner in scoring position. How about a 2-out rally for the Bucs? And Carlone's going to call time. A base hit to left field here would be huge for the Bucs. Ross would most likely score with ease. To center, it might be hard. Colin Robson is fairly shallow. 2-1 misses outside.
Advantage Ross will have, obviously, is that he'll be going on contact.
Three balls, 1 strike. Hayes once again struggling a little bit with his command against the top half of the Bucs order. 3-1, nowhere near. Like I said, these top 2 guys at least, the command was just not there. And then to Ryan Callahan, gave up that base hit. Tommy Isaacs had another base hit as well. And first inning started with those 2 walks and then 2 base hits, and it was just Mose Hayes looking like a totally different pitcher from what we're used to seeing out of him. But then he just locked in. Back-to-back strikeouts and a ground ball out.
Yeah, I don't think Callahan will be trying to get to first with a bunt again this time, and neither do Dawson or Ferris on the corners.
Callahan is single, like I said. Back in his last at-bat, he'd take that one outside. That eventually loaded up the bases. And it's just 2 different Mose Hayeses on the mound. We've seen the struggle for the first 4 batters and then pure dominance through the next 5.
And was dominant up until 2 outs here.
1-0 pitch to Callahan. It's a nice breaking ball, called strike. Bucs looking to win this game and hope the Chinooks win their game against the Miners. That would put them 2 games up, but just 1 game in front of Matsu right now. Mose Hayes trying to get out of a second inning. Has the 2 outs, the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Callahan can't seem to find the ball with, or find the curveball with the lumber there.
Doesn't seem like any of these Bucs have really done well against that curveball. The fastball is really what's been the problem for Mose Hayes, especially locating it. Only 2 hits for the Bucs so far, but that curveball's generated a good number of swings and misses.
Quiet night here in Anchorage. Callahan trying to make it louder as this one is fouled away.
And if Callahan can work this count a little bit, especially if he could get it all the way full, would love to see what he can do, not only putting wood on it, but with the speed of Ross and Carlone in motion with 2 away.
Got to work back in the count still. Down 1-2. Pitch from Hayes. Hit to center field, but right in line with Colin Robson. Excuse me, he actually had to make a diving effort. That ball was knuckling on him, and at first it looked like it was hit right to him, but instead had to come in and make a nice grab. So Mose Hayes gets out of the inning. Just gave up the walk-in, or 2 walks to Carlone and Ross, but besides that, a goose egg left on the board. We head to the 3rd inning, still a 1-0 lead for the Bucs. Top half of the 3rd inning, Halverson's still out there, coming off of 6 straight strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning against the Oilers back in the 2nd, and will face off against 9-1-2. Aiden Sullivan takes a called strike.
Don't think Sullivan liked that called strike very much. Home plate umpire really giving the outside corners.
But one big swing and a miss, and seems like none of these Oilers can catch up to the fastball.
Well, also that one on the inside part of the plate, with these outside called strikes, you have these hitters kind of leaning over, already trying to protect out there, and then you run it in. It's going to be tough to get the barrel on it.
0-2. Called strike 3. Briggs was up and ready to throw before the call was even made. A beautiful breaking ball from Wyatt Halverson as he backdoors it into Aiden Sullivan. And wow, what a show we're getting up here, Will.
I mean, looking, swinging, heater, off speed, it doesn't matter. He's getting strikeouts every which way.
So that'll bring up the top of the order again in Petey Soto. First pitch he sees is low and away, and Petey Soto was retired via the strikeout. Only 2 batters have not been retired by Wyatt Halverson. He's walked Colin Robson and given up a single to Zachary Ferris as this one misses up and in. Two balls, no strikes to start Soto. Bucs had a little bit of a 2-route rally last inning, but Mose Hayes did a good job of getting out of it. Foul tipped into the mid, strike 1.
Would love another quick inning from Halverson. Did a better job last inning of keeping that pitch count down, obviously, without allowing a runner.
That one up and away, and the cloudy sky out here, it doesn't look as dark as it does on the screen, so if you're thinking it's dark when you watch it on YouTube, we recommend just turning up that brightness all the way, plug in your computer in so you don't lose battery, and so you get that additional brightness as Will mentioned to me earlier. I forgot about that. And it's a swing and a miss from Petey Soto makes it 3-2.
Yeah, also talking about the darkness, it's kind of tough to gauge the rain sometimes from in here, but if you look at certain spots in the field, you can really tell it is coming down a decent bit.
3-2. Swung on and missed. Wyatt Halverson, another strikeout. And a swinging one at that as he climbs the ladder on Petey Soto. And he just looks absolutely filthy.
He looks unhittable right now. I know that the Oilers have one hit, but I mean, they just are struggling so much with his fastball and his off speed. And like I said, he's just continuing to give them strikeouts every which way.
Cole Dawson stands in, strikeout looking in his first at bat, and the same call that was given to Howerson through the first couple of frames was not called just right there.
Yeah, my only thing is I guess it could have been low because in terms of how far outside it was, that's definitely been given.
1-0 pitch is a called strike. Even our PA guy next to us, a scoreboard operator, thought that first one was a called strike. And now getting the memo that it's a 1-1 count to Dawson. Howerson working pretty quickly. Next pitch. Here's the first ball in play that is not going to be a base hit, and it's a pop fly into shallow right field, caught by Peyton Knowles. So the streak comes to an end. It was 8 strikeouts in a row from Wyatt Halverson, but unfortunately can't get that 9th straight one as Peyton Knowles wraps the last one in leather. We head to the bottom half of the third inning, still a 1-0 lead for the Bucs. Bottom third here at Mulcahy Stadium. Wyatt Halverson with 8 strikeouts in the first 3 frames. Almost had 9 and struck out all of the batters that he retired in the first 3 frames. And unfortunately, that pop fly by, by Cole Dawson back last inning spoiled the 9 straight strikeouts.
I don't think I've ever been more disappointed by an F4.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted a strikeout.
100%. So Tommy Eisenstadt leads off the Bucs in the third inning as he fouls that one out of play. Had an RBI single back in the first that played at the first and only run for the Bucs.
In fairness, I think Peyton Knowles and the rest of the Bucs fielders probably getting a little bored out there. They didn't have much to do.
And I just got a glimpse of Howerson coming back in the dugout, and his hair looks soaked. It's definitely raining out there. I think it's raining more than we think it is. 0-1 misses outside. All the players are none of the players on the top step. Everyone kind of hunkered down in there to avoid the rain. Couple guys sitting on the outside part. It looks like Inyard and Lamb sitting in the rain a little bit. Next one to Eisenstadt, fouled away.
Yeah, we're used to seeing the entire dugout on that top step. Looks like there's one player. He's kind of blocked directly behind a pole, so I'm not sure who it is.
It's Burns and someone else, I believe, but a couple guys out there, maybe Hunsaker too. 1 ball, 2 strikes from Mose Hayes to Tommy Eisenstadt. The pitch is hammered into right field high, and Aiden Sullivan to the wall and just has enough room as Tommy Eisenstadt about a foot away from a solo bomb.
Oh, was so close. Must have just missed it on the bat by a couple
The third baseman
centimeters
is tag
because
number 6,
Aiden
Josh
Sullivan, like you
Jenkins.
said, all the way to the wall with his back up against it to make that grab.
And I said it was high right after it was hit because I thought it was just going to be too high to get out of here. But boy, does he have a lot of power. The fact that that ball got that close at that launch angle is pretty impressive because we've talked a lot about Will Burns and how he hits that ball so hard, but he hits it sometimes just too high. And he's been about a foot away from a homer at least 3 or 4 times this season. Hankins takes a called strike. But once you get it up to a certain point, it is just almost impossible to get it over that wall. You have to kind of hit it on the line, but not too much, or the wind or the air will kind of belt or break it down.
It's definitely a tight window.
0-1, ground ball out to short. P. Soto gathers, and the throw is in time for out number 2.
Yeah, surprised that Hankins is 0 for 2. Only saying that because he's 2 for 5 against Hayes this season, and
To the plate, the
uh,
second baseman is tag
also
number
picked up a
35,
couple of hits
Knowles.
yesterday.
That'll bring up Peyton Knowles. Struck out looking in his first plate appearance, and Hankins on that first at bat to Bose Hayes seemed very uncomfortable and big swing and a miss, nowhere near it. So, like you said, interested to see what is different from Hayes in terms of what Hankins was seeing out there through the first 5 at bats he had. 1 ball, no strikes to Peyton Knowles. Wind blowing back in from left field. It's picking up a little bit now. Pitch is downstairs a little bit. Halverson, the first starter for the Bucs back on opening day, June 6th. And because he was named the first starter, we just expected that he was going to be that guy, and not that he hasn't been, as this one misses outside to Knowles. But it's definitely been surprising with how many other starters have stepped up and have just done an incredible job. And not that because he was the first guy to go out there for the Bucs that he should be the ace and he should be the best, but definitely whoever you go with first is supposed to be one of your best guys to go. As Peyton Knowles takes a 4-pitch walk, another base on balls for him, and does such a good job of getting on first base. But going back to Halverson, it's great because even if Halverson was the best pitcher on the Bucs, he, has those 2 losses against the Oilers, but has been really good. So it's great to have him being third or fourth type of guy with these other starters like Zan and Chad Gurney, Garvey Rummery, Cole Carlone, all those other guys doing a really good job of being great guys behind Halverson, and in terms of how the season has gone, have actually been in front of him a little bit. Brody Briggs squared to bunt and never pulled it back, so it's a called strike.
Yeah, for me, it's less about him not pitching well and just how good the other guys have been behind him.
That's exactly what I was trying to say, and you make it shorter than what I was going on rambling about, but I appreciate that. It's definitely what I was trying to say. It's not that Halverson hasn't performed to his best ability, but the other guys around him have just done such a good job. It almost takes the pressure off of him, in a sense. He doesn't have to be that number 1 ace guy. A ground ball. Max Rothroy gets second, has that. The toss to first is in time. Bose Hayes works around a 2-out walk. No hits, no runs, no errors, and 1 left. We head to the 4th inning. Still a 1-0 lead for the Bucs. Into the 4th inning. The Bucs still lead at 1-0, and now with the play-by-play, here's Will Hopkins.
Appreciate it, Vic. Wyatt Halverson still on the mound, and rightfully so. He's been fantastic. 9 outs, 8 of them via the strikeout. Colin Robson, Zachary Ferris, and Max Rothberg here in the 4th. In the 1st inning, Robson walked, and Halverson starts with a ball outside.
For Halverson, now that the streak of strikeouts is over, just settle for quick at-bats, ground balls, fly balls. Stay in the game as long as possible.
Yeah, that pitch is 52nd. 21 balls, 31 strikes. (2-0) coming to the center fielder, and a big cut and a miss.
And Halverson, unlike some of the other pitchers for the Bucs, is just really strikeout dependent some games. And not that he can't get an out another way, but just the one out with the fly ball, the rest have been strikeouts. I just hope that that's not a crutch for him, that he feels like he has to get a strikeout.
Gets a foul ball from Robson. Now might as well do it. But yeah, no, I know what you're saying. He's needing at least 3 pitches in all of those at-bats, if not more, with foul balls or balls. But I'm going to be a little greedy here. I kind of want to see how high he can get that number.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, already got 2 strikes. Why not? Got to pitch got to throw another one anyways.
Looking for strikeout number 9. Oh, just almost at it.
Yeah, and these 8 strikeouts, not all of them have been super long at bats. We've seen, a couple 1, 2, 3 pitches, but only 1 or 2 that I can remember have been just the 3 pitches. I think that we've had a sprinkle of 4 or 5, but it seems like everyone has been like at least 5 or 6 pitches.
Colin Robson leads the ABL in strikeouts with 30. Halverson not able to get it to 31 yet, as he smiles as Robson's able to stay alive. I believe Jack Hostetler has a game with 12 strikeouts, if I'm not mistaken.
Wouldn't be surprised. He's a flamethrower.
Might be thinking of somebody else. I believe it is somebody for the minors, though.
Long look in here for Halverson, shaking off a couple times.
2-2. And that misses low. Actually, I don't think it's Hostetler, because he's only started a couple of games. Oh, no, it is Hostetler. 12 strikeouts, so. Halverson sitting at 8, a full count pitch. Grounded foul.
8 pitch at bat already, and even if he gets the out, it's just one to look back on, and Halverson maybe just wishes they did a different pitch selection, a different way of attacking Robson. I know Robson, one of the better hitters for the Oilers, but still want to try to find a way to not have to lean on those strikeouts, Will.
And it's a walk, like you said. Was really working to get that strikeout, couldn't get it done, and got to give props to Robson. He struggled with the strikeouts this season, did a really good job there, fouling off some really difficult pitches.
And for Halverson, all these guys have been late on the fastball. I don't know why he doesn't try to challenge them by throwing it closer to the zone. That one seemed like an up and away pitch that was mainly just a swing and a miss type of pitch that Halverson tried to get, and Robson, being a disciplined hitter that he is, just wasn't going to swing at that.
So now Zachary Ferris, he has the lone hit so far for the Oilers, and Halverson starts him out with a strike. Went to the opposite field with it. Will Burns was going over towards second base to cover a potential stolen base, and then Ferris just hitting that ball in the vacated area. 60 pitches now for Halverson, and 61 is cut on and missed.
Good pitch by Halverson there, and given that we only saw Carlone for a short amount of time last game, going 50, 60 pitches, now over 60 pitches, can't assume he'd go anywhere near 80, let alone 70.
Yeah, I could definitely use a double play if he wants to pitch the 5th inning. Runner bluffs going, and Brody Briggs unable to secure that foul tip. Obviously, a lot of luck involved with that. Good job by Ferris to get a little bit of wood on it, albeit not very much, and make Halverson throw another pitch.
Looks like Jeremiah Arnett has started stretching out in the bullpen. We know him to have the ability to come in and for long relief and for short outings as well. So not be surprised if this is Halverson's last inning if he can't get that double play.
No balls, 2 strikes to Ferris. Runner goes and pitches lined foul. And good thing that it was foul, because with Robson on the move, who knows where he would have ended up. That ball was lined fair. into the outfield, but luckily the Bucs won't have to worry about that.
And if this is Halverson's last inning, he's got to feel good about himself. Even just going to 4 innings, that's still one more inning than he went in his last 2 starts. He gave up, or hopefully would be giving up, no runs at all. And just the 1 hit, of course, has to get out of this inning, but still, nothing to hang your head on.
Briggs gives a sign to his fellow Sun Devil. This one's hit, a looping line drive into left field. It's another base hit for Ferris, who's responsible for both base hits for the Oilers, and now 2 on with nobody out.
Guess I shouldn't wish anything anymore. Halverson's still a chance to get out of this inning unscathed.
Yeah, unfortunately, the ball's in play, even when they haven't been hit the hardest. Just not in the right spots for the Bucs defensively. Not a super high exit velocity on that one from Ferris, who's gone the other way twice. And that one just dumped into left field. So now Max Rothberg, like we talked about, leading the league in batting average coming in. 30 hits. Trails only Colin Robson in the hit department, but less at-bats for Rothberg gives him the highest average. 326, but Halverson got him looking to end the first inning with 2 men on, so similar spot with 2 men on, except this time no outs. Eisenstadt and Hankins in, ready for a bunt, which is shown but pulled back as Halverson's pitch is outside. We know this Oilers team likes to bunt, not just to move guys over, but also for base hits.
Yeah, not a bad decision. And even if Rothberg's your best hitter, still going to lay one down here. And we got the lights on now.
Yeah, not sure that really supposed to come on in the middle of an inning, but they are. Just the bottom of the 3 rows of those lights in left center and right center field. Robson dancing around at second, a long wait from Halverson, and Robson is going. That bunt is skied. Brody Briggs finds it, and now he's going to have a chance at second base. He makes the throw, and it's a double play! Fantastic stuff from Briggs and the Bucs. Great job by Will Burns, being okay with jumping to catch that ball, knowing he'd have time to come down just in time to double up Colin Robson.
Yeah, great job. I love the dugout. Even if they're not on the top step, that doesn't mean that they're not into this game. They immediately shouted up, let Brody Briggs know that that ball's still up in the air and that he still has a play to make, and he made a great play.
Fantastic stuff, and not your conventional double play at all, but it gets the job done. Now 2 away as the designated hitter Cody New comes to the plate, and Halverson maybe trying to keep him from even having an at-bat, checking on Ferris over there. He's in safely, but for the Bucs, can't really draw it up any better. A bunt up in the air is a gift in and of itself, and then with a runner going to third, really had no chance of getting back in time, as the first pitch to New is a called strike, and just a little bit surprised that Ferris wasn't also going. Usually when a runner is going to third, you see that guy on first looking at him and following him. Either Ferris didn't get the memo or just decided not to, but he stays at first. 0-1 cut on and missed.
Yeah, interesting not to see the double steal on that type of play. But even if you're Robson, I know that that's really tough, but once you hear the dugout screaming up, 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 you have to go back.
Did take him a while to realize.
You have to go back. And that ball's up in the air. It doesn't matter if it's foul ground or fair ground.
0-2 is inside. Yeah, that's a great point, because we realized that ball was up in the air when he was about halfway to third, maybe 2/3 of the way. He made it all the way to the base.
Yes, he made it all the way there, and I think that once he realized, he sprinted all the way back, and there was no hesitation, but he just realized too late.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Breaking ball just high. Bucs dugout wanted that one, but seemed like the right call.
Yeah, definitely the right call. Halverson's got to get it down just a little bit, but I don't mind that for a 1-2 pitch. Now Deuces Wild has to be competitive here. Let him put it into play. Let your defense work. Been pretty quiet, but look at that double play. Halverson should know that a ground ball flyout should be a third out here.
Halverson's pitch to New. Count runs full. Ferris at first, New at the plate. Cole Wilson on deck as Halverson up to 71 pitches now in what could be his last inning. And wouldn't it be fitting for him to end it with a strikeout?
Would be.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Ferris will be on the move. There he goes, and the pitch is grounded to third and under the glove of Josh Hankins. That ball was hit sharply, and Hankins gave it a great effort, just unable to come up with it.
Yeah, that one hit just a little too hard for Hankins to be able to get there. It was not too far out of his reach, but like I said, just hit too hard for him to be able to dive and get the glove down simultaneously. And even if he does, still have to get up quick and make a strike over there to first.
So another man coming to the plate. It's Cole Wilson now. Second hit of the inning for the Oilers. First hit of the game for someone not named Zachary Ferris, who stands at second base. New at first. Alverson's first pitch to Wilson coming. And that's way high, just out of the glove of Brody Briggs, but close enough to him to keep the runners where they are.
It's been a long time since the 4th of July since we saw the lights, Will.
Yeah, it's the only other time we've seen them all season here at Mulcahy Stadium.
Monty doing a little jog out there. I guess the legs feeling a little bit better.
And he's telling the rest of the infield to stay away.
And usually the infield doesn't come in. I wonder if just the body language of Monty jogging out there instead of the slow walk just got into the players' heads that they should be coming out to the mound too. Just wondering why, because I don't usually see that. Usually the infield doesn't come in for mound visits for the Bucs, at least. Don't see that too often.
We also don't see Monty out there with that kind of pace very often. I guess his legs feeling all right. But when he walks slowly, that's how we normally know it's time for a pitching change. But maybe trying not to break Halverson's rhythm by going out there pretty quickly. One pitch into this sequence against Wilson, who's ahead 1-0. Peyton Knowles backs off second, and Halverson's ready to go. Swing and a miss.
And I think that from Monty, that talk was really just to get in the head of Cole Wilson. We've seen Monty do that before just to try to buy some time, and we'll call some of the batters over and waste time a little bit. Maybe just trying to get in the head of Cole Wilson at the plate here. That's why he didn't need the infield to have the conversation.
Ball and strike. Another swing and a miss. And I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I feel like the rhythm of the pitcher would be so much more important.
But maybe he knows Halverson, and he knows that those aren't the type of things that mess with his rhythm. Because every pitcher is different.
That is definitely true. We know that Halverson's fine talking to us before games. Can't say the same of every pitcher before they're starting. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Breaking ball, strike 3 called. Strikeout number 9 for Wyatt Halverson. 5th one of the looking variety. He strands 2 Oilers through 4 innings. No runs for them, 1 for the Bucs. Hopefully that's more after the next half. Ready for the bottom of the 4th inning. An interesting top half of the inning with a bunt in the air in foul territory, allowing the Bucs to turn 2, and then, of course, a strikeout from Wyatt Halverson. Couldn't have an inning without one of those.
Doesn't exist, actually.
8, 9, and 1 for the Bucs. A lot of speed between those three. Hunsaker, Burns, and Ross. See if they can get something going. As the lead is just 1 right now for the Bucs. Like we said, last 4 games haven't scored a run after the first inning. 3 in the first each of the last 2 games. And then none the whole game, the 2 before that. 1 in the first so far tonight.
Besides that 9-1 victory against the Pilots, lately the Bucs have just been living on the edge. 2-0 in both games of the doubleheader versus the Miners. Swing and a miss from Hunsaker there, but the 1-0 losses from the Miners after that. There's just been a ton of close games and a ton of one-run games that have not gone the Bucs' way. And the one game that did go the Bucs' way was a 4-3 win against these Oilers, where the Bucs, or excuse me, a 3-2 win, where the Bucs scored 3 runs in the first and then nothing, and just were able to come away with the win somehow, some way.
Yeah, and you said it's been living on the edge, but some of the time the edge has not been good enough, as we saw last night against the Miners. The Miners, on the flip side, they've been living on the edge with success game after game after game, and because of that, the lead for the Bucs, just 1 game atop the ABL.
And it's not been the pitching late in the games, it's just been the hitting. Just can't manufacture runs, can't get guys on, can't get them around, and surely we haven't been getting them in, but the pitchers have been doing a great and a fantastic job of just keeping other hitters at bay. And even the Miners, who have got some hitters, only 3-4 runs.
2-2, cut on and missed. Here's a strikeout for Mose Hayes, his 4th, and Hunsaker will make way for Will Burns at the plate. And talking about the Miners, they're up 7-0 right now. So if the Bucs need to hold on, and if they don't, we can assume with that 7-0 lead that the Bucs and Miners would be tied. So really can't understate the importance of this one. Just 2 hits for the Bucs, 3 for the Oilers. Good pitching on both sides, and we talked about it when it happened as Burns swings and misses, but you have the bases loaded with nobody out, even after scoring 1 in the first. Could be a situation that you'd come to regret if you couldn't get any more. And no matter how many more runs the Bucs score, I think that's definitely something they wish they could have taken more advantage of. Especially in a game that's 1-0 as of now, as Burns shoots that one foul down the right field line. 6 left on for the Bucs, 4 for the Oilers. Obviously, the Oilers 1 more full frame at the plate than the Bucs. Would love to see that number go down for the Bucs. Would love to just see more guys on base, at least have the opportunity. 0-2, and not sure how Burns got a piece of that.
Just a singular stitch, I think, and waved the bat out and was just able to nick it. But yeah, Burns really close to striking out on that last pitch.
Yeah, that pitch was way outside. Don't think he really could have reached the bat any further out. Still in a hole, 0-2. Mose Hayes' next pitch will be his 70th. Here it comes, and Burns puts it in the air, foul.
Still not the best pitch to swing on for Burns, but I like that approach. Dipping more over the plate to try to reach out on that outside pitch. And with the way the umpire's been calling, sometimes you have to do that, and especially those breaking balls tailing away. Have to put not your best swing on it, actually, and just try to fight it off and get a better pitch.
Hayes pounding the zone here against Burns. Another 0-2. Hit in the air to right field. Sullivan over towards the line, and a couple steps into foul territory, he makes the play. So good job by Burns fighting, but unfortunately nothing to show for it. And now Max Ross comes to the plate with the bases empty and 2 away. He's walked twice so far. Been really productive midway through his 2nd game back since injury. Great to have him defensively in center field as well. We're seeing him playing with Hunsaker more now, and when they were both healthy, we almost never saw them in the outfield together.
Usually just tandeming.
And I think one factor is that Peyton Knowles is really the only natural second baseman you have at this point. So that's 1 less outfielder. Cade Lacey leaving as well. 1-0, fouled straight back. And Knowles, one of the guys who is leaving pretty soon as far as I was told, so be super interested to see who takes that spot in second base, with Martell Davis unfortunately having to leave as well.
Yeah, just a lot of spots to be filled, and just wondering what Bucs are going to do, really. Callahan, I'm sure, is going to have to play third base almost every game or close to that.
Or maybe even second base. Two balls, one strike to Max Ross. Hayes hasn't been able to retire him yet. Hit in the air to left, coming in. Cole Wilson, and he has it, no problem. The Bucs go down 1-2-3 in the fourth. They still lead it, but only by a run. Welcome back for the fifth inning. Wyatt Halverson's night is done, and it was fantastic. 4 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 9 strikeouts. Just incredible stuff from the starter, but he gives way to Jeremiah Arnett for his 6th appearance against the Oilers.
Yeah, this will be his 14th appearance, and that is the most by far out of any Bucs pitcher. Only comes out of the bullpen, though, and he has 4 decisions, all of them wins. 4-0, 1 save, 20 innings on the dot pitch, 23 hits, 7 earned runs. Good enough for a 3.15 ERA, and it seems the past couple times we've seen him go out there, every single time, it just keeps lowering that ERA little bit by little bit.
Yeah, you talk about little bit. It only lowered a little bit last time because he only had to make 1 out. He came in after 8 2/3 from Zan Rose against these Oilers just to get that last out, and he got the job done. And I misspoke. This is actually his 5th appearance against the Oilers, not his 6th. And in total, 6 innings, 4 runs, but all 4 of those runs coming in 1 appearance where he went just 2/3 of an inning. So the other 3 doing a really good job going 5 1/3, no runs. So hopefully we see some more of that as he faces Worthgen, Sullivan, and Soto Jr. And off to a good start against Worthgen, 1-2.
And Arnett is just a super reliable guy out of the bullpen, was similar to Rylan Hyder, both just going blow for blow every single game. It seemed like you were either going to see Arnett come out of the bullpen for 1 or 2 innings or Hyder come out of the bullpen for 1 or 2 innings. And with Hyder gone, it's been more Arnett.
And Arnett's picking up right where Halverson left off. There's a strikeout. And these Oilers, doesn't matter who's on the mound, they're striking out.
And the fastball is lively from Arnett, too, and it looks really good right now. And these Oilers, or at least Brock Worthgen, cannot catch up to it.
Oilers coming into play with the 2nd most strikeouts, 229. Pilots have the most with 247. Bucs still last in a good way in that category with 136. But that 229 number for the Oilers quickly up to 239. 1-0 is fouled off.
Arnett works really quickly, has good pace, doesn't work too fast, but it's almost like he doesn't even recognize that there's a batter in the box. It seems like he's just playing catch out there with Brody Briggs. Very fluid in his motion, does the same thing every single time.
Big swing and a miss. Arnett looking for his second consecutive strikeout. It would be Sullivan's second strikeout of the game. Alverson got him looking his first time to the plate. The 1-2 from the Wichita State Shocker swung on and missed. 2 strikeouts to start Arnett's outing.
And he just looks dialed in right now. That tempo, the pace he works with. Like I said, it's like there's no one even in the batter's box. He's just playing catch. He's just not bothered by anything. And we know Jeremiah to be a quiet guy. Haven't had too many one-on-ones with him. But what I know from the guys on the team definitely say he's one of the quieter guys on the field. And definitely has that type of aura when he goes out on the mound of being a quiet type of guy.
Well, he's made Worthgen and Sullivan's bats quiet so far. Hopefully same for Petey Soto. He's struck out twice. How about Arnett gives him the hat trick? Oh, super close pitch. We've seen that outside corner given to righties, but maybe that one just a little bit low. So now 1-1 to the shortstop. And as it's higher up, he gets the call.
That's just going to be really tough for Soto to fight back in this count. He's already struck out swinging twice tonight. He's just a struggling batter this season.
Arnett strikes out the side. Worthgen and Sullivan swinging, Soto looking. That's now 12 strikeouts for the Bucs pitchers. We head to the bottom half as the good guys are still up by 1. What an inning from Jeremiah Arnett. Hopefully bring some good vibes to these Bucs bats. It's Mose Hayes still on the mound for the Oilers. Not surprising given how long he's gone in games in relief this season, this being his first start. 75 pitches so far, and he's just chugging along. 1 run for the Bucs in the first. He's able to leave 3 stranded that inning, 3 more stranded across the last 3 innings.
And this is the inning to get to him. He's only gone 5 innings. Of course, they've all been in relief. But already at 76 pitches, can't imagine that he'd have another one in store.
Carlone has walked twice. He's starting him with the ball. It'll be hit. Carlone, Callahan, and Eisenstadt. Definitely a good 3 guys for the Bucs to add on to this slim lead. This time it's inside. For Hayes, 4 strikeouts so far, pitching a little bit differently than we've seen from the Bucs. 3 ground balls, 5 fly balls. Bucs just 2 for 7 with runners on. Carlone fouls this one away. I think a little bit upset he didn't do more with it.
Yeah, for Hayes, he's not the biggest strikeout guy just by looking at him, but did have 7 strikeouts in one of his last outings. That was actually, or excuse me, maybe that was not Hayes, but he definitely doesn't have the strikeout stuff like a guy like Halverson does, but has the ability to get outs in many other facets.
Beautiful breaking ball on the outside. Yeah, it doesn't blow you away with anything.
It's that curveball that gets most of the batters.
Yeah, just a tough guy to hit.
And now the Bucs have made the adjustment, I would say, as of late, in terms of that curveball, but still are getting weak contact when they try to hit it.
Looked like an off-speed pitch there. Carlone does a good job just to spoil it foul.
The rain is almost stopped. Top step getting crowded over there for the Bucs.
Hopefully they can make some noise for a hit from Cole Carlone. Bucs leadoff hitters 1 for 4 with a walk tonight. And Carlone serves this one on the ground. Soto scoops it up and makes the throw. And the leadoff man retired here for the Bucs, making it 1 for 5 now tonight.
And that's that breaking ball again from Mose Hayes. And you could see Carlone make the adjustment mid-pitch, but still getting weak contact. He was very close to barreling that ball up and didn't miss it by much, but that's how perfect you have to be with the perfect breaking ball. Is you just really have to barrel it up if you want to get hard contact. If you don't, then you're just going to be grounded balls left and right, and that's what Mose Hayes will induce.
Now 4 ground balls from the Bucs. None so far from Callahan. He purposefully put the ball on the ground with the bunt. He beat that out, was just trying to get Ross and Carlone over, it seemed, and did even more than he was asked to do. Also lined out a diving catch by Colin Robson in center field. No balls and a strike. Swings at this one, hits it on the ground, deep in the hole for Rothberg, and he makes the throw to Hayes, who's covering, and they get the out.
That was a magnificent play, and Hayes knew he had to cover the bag once Zachary Ferris at first tried to go for it and had to scamper back, so Hayes was actually the closest one to being able to get to first. And I think Springman wants to talk with the first base umpire. It was a really good play, but looking at it back, I'm just surprised that Hayes was able to keep his foot on the bag.
Extremely athletic play by Mose Hayes, the Alaska native, to, as the umpire saw it, keep his foot on the bag and lay out to field the throw from Rothberg. And now it looks like Springman has gotten these umpires to chat.
Yeah, and the way he was describing using his hands to the home or first base umpires, that, hey, just probably because of that angle, want to get you to talk with the other umpires because we thought that his foot may have come off the bag. That's, I think, what he was signaling at, was that maybe the home plate umpire has a better view of that.
Eisenstadt standing in the box for now. We saw him get a call changed over at first base.
Maybe it's something about in the box, and maybe it's not about that play at all.
Oh, no, I think it's definitely about that play, I was just saying.
Or not about the play, but not, maybe it's about something before that happened, or some interference. I don't know, because back in the box.
And now the umpires are kind of looking around.
Or excuse me, that was Callahan.
They're waiting for the coach of the Oilers to come out and join in the conversations, Larry McCann. I'll go back and watch real quick to see if there appeared to be any interference on that.
Yeah, Ferris, good job of getting out of the way, letting Hayes cover the bag, but yeah, you shook your head. I agree. It didn't look like anything was out of the ordinary, but great play by Hayes. It's something that when you see the ball initially, you want to head over there, but once you see the first base or second baseman field it, especially second base, a lot of pitchers kind of just accept the fact that the first base is probably going to cover, but in that instance, Ferris was too far off the bag, and Hayes had a way better beat to get to first.
And the fact that they brought Coach McCann out makes me think they might change this call, and the fact that he's still talking to them makes me think that even more so. And Ryan Callahan looks like he's going to head over to first base.
It looks like getting a little more heated than it was at the start. Nothing too crazy, but they're going to call him safe at first. I just assume that his foot came off the bag. I mean, they're not really telling us anything from up here, but that would have to be what it is.
The Bucs will take it. Just the third hit for the Bucs' first hit since the first inning, if I'm not mistaken. The Bucs having 2 that inning.
Yep, you're exactly right.
So Callahan and the Bucs will take it, and like you said, I guess Coach Springman just pointing out maybe that the timing of his foot leaving the bag as he laid out for that, Hayes did everything he could. Hopefully the Bucs can take advantage of the break as Eisenstadt cracks this one into shallow left, and Soto going all the way out there to make a play. Luckily, his throw back to first is off target. Otherwise, Callahan and the Bucs would have been doubled up.
They sure would, and that was really close from Tommy Eisenstadt. If Soto's not as deep in the hole, That's most likely a base hit because I've mentioned all game Cole Wilson in left field has been super far back. But if that ball was any closer and tailing towards the line, that's a base hit all day because I don't think Cole Dawson is able to backtrack that far. But Soto had a really good angle and was able to get over there. But for Tommy Eisenstadt, if he hits that closer to the line, that's most likely a bloop single.
And we've known Soto to be one of the best defensive shortstops in this league. Another left-sided infielder now to the plate with Josh Hankins. He grounded out to Soto.
Excuse me, but I think that Callahan was thinking the same thing that I'm thinking, that that ball could have gotten down if it was just tailing more towards the line and maybe try to get a little too greedy.
Yeah, not surprising to see these Bucs aggressive on the pass as an aggressive swing and gets the ball down in front of Wilson. Good stuff from Josh Hankins, but as I was saying, not surprised to see these Bucs aggressive on the pass because they've had so few opportunities out there. Got to make the most of them, and now Peyton Knowles up with a chance to add on as Callahan has gotten into scoring position. Callahan at second, Hankins at first, 2 away. And that hit from Hankins, the first 2-out hit for the Bucs. Both those hits in the first inning coming with nobody out. Hopefully Knowles can make this rally count for something. He struck out and walked. Just continuing to add to that walk tally as he takes a ball outside.
And it seems like the Oilers have been gearing up for a low-scoring game this whole time because the outfielder's been really far back. Speaking of Cole Wilson, this whole game he's been almost about 10, 15 feet shy of the warning track, and I'm just wondering if the Oilers are really trying to keep all these balls in front of them instead of being shallow, because we've seen the Bucs at times play super shallow in the outfield, and that base hit by Josh Hankins probably would have been a line out if Cole Wilson was playing as shallow as we've seen a lot of these outfielders play at Mulcahy Stadium. I'm just guessing that the Oilers trying to keep everything in front of them, and
could help Callahan score if Knowles serves it the other way. 1 ball, no strikes. As a check swing from Knowles sends the ball just to the left of the third base bag. And I was talking about how he's continuing to bring those walk numbers up. And with his last walk, he now broke the tie with Will Burns for the most on the team with 17.
And something I like to see from Peyton Knowles is he does such a good job of getting himself on, whether it's the walk or just legging out an infield single. It seems like he does a really good job of getting hits, just putting it into places where no one's going to get it. He's not finding those bloop hits. He's making all of his hits worth it, and he's earning it. But I'd like to see him get an extra base hit and really swing for the fences. And I'm not saying swing for the fences in terms of a home run, especially here on the 2-out at bat. But with a 1-1 count, maybe give it a ride. Because he's such a selfless player. He's always trying to get himself on the base pass just to give the Bucs a chance. Maybe time for it to be a little greedy.
Looking for his first extra base hit of the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Peyton Knowles is a great guy to have because he just does such a good job of getting on base, but he's almost, it's sometimes I think, too selfless, and I think that that's a great way of being. But for these Bucs, the lack of scoring runs, they need a guy who's going to try to have, or going to have that approach to hit it into the gap.
In a good count, 2 balls and a strike, and takes that one outside. Still a great discipline at the plate. Not trying to do too much, but it is surprising. No extra base hits for him. 12 for 49, batting .245 coming into play. Now 12 for 50, so .240.
And he's 6'1", 185, but he's got some big arms, Willa. We've seen him, we've talked to him. He definitely has power. We know he has that.
Pays a long look at Callahan. Now home and shows off some of that power to left center field. Robson over as well as Wilson. It'll be Wilson to make the play. The Bucs leave 2 stranded in the bottom of the 5th as we head to the 6th. It's still a slim 1-run lead. Jeremiah Arnett back out for his second inning of work. The first was super impressive from him. 3 strikeouts, 2 swinging, 1 looking. He'll face 2, 3, and 4. Dawson, Robson, and Ferris here in the top of the 6th.
Arnett just right where you left off. Same thing.
12 strikeouts between Halverson and Arnett. 4 innings for Halverson, 1 for Arnett. This ball's in play. 1 hop to Josh Hankins. Takes his time and makes the throw right on target. 1 pitch, 1 out. Not much of that we've seen today.
No, not at all, but we love to see it. And just quick outs. This game, being that it's, well, we're an hour and 43 done, we're pretty much on pace for most of our games. A little bit longer, considering it's a 1-0 game, but that's just been because of the strikeouts and longer innings, traffic on the base pass, but nothing really happening scoreboard-wise.
1-0 hit to center field, but diving over. Will Burns came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he really did. When the ball was hit, I knew that it was going to be a tough play for any infielder, but I was keying in on Will Burns because I immediately saw him break, and I was thinking that that ball's a little bit towards the third base side of second base. So I was thinking that Will Burns definitely had the best shot. It also was tailing towards left field, and because of that, I think Will Burns had the best shot at it and made for a pretty nice play.
Really wanted to see Ferris swing the bat there, see if we could get a 3-pitch inning from Jeremiah Arnett.
Bucs deserve it. A lot of strikeouts, but you know that takes at least 3 pitches, and most of those strikeouts were not 3 pitches.
And smart from Ferris not to swing, whether it's Hayes coming out or a new pitcher. Definitely want to give it some time for rest if it's Hayes, or more time to warm up if it's a new pitcher. So wisely took that first pitch. And now Arnett a strike away from a second 1-2-3 inning in relief. 3 strikeouts in the first, looking for his first here in the 6th. 3 strikeouts in the 5th now, looking for his first in the 6th. Instead, it's a slow roller. Peyton Knowles charges, gloves, and throws. A lightning fast 1-2-3 inning from Jeremiah Arnett. 6 up, 6 down for him. We head to the bottom of this 6th. Bucs going to add on still. Still Mose Hayes for the Oilers. Bucs got a little something going in the bottom of the 5th, and unfortunately unable to plate any runs, but after a super quick top of the 6th, thanks to Jeremiah Arnett, hopefully Brody Briggs and the Bucs can kind of pick up where they left off in the bottom of the 5th. Left 2 stranded, bringing that total to 8. Could loom large in just a 1-run game. First pitch to Briggs, hit hard over the leaping Max Rothberg, and there's a start.
Yep, great start for the Bucs. Needed that leadoff guy to be on.
So Briggs at first, Hunsaker comes to the plate. He's 0 for 2 so far, looking for his first hit. This is his first time seeing Hayes. So far unsuccessful. Like we said, the Bucs came into play against Hayes, not faring too well. Just 8 hits, only 5 from tonight's lineup. Josh Hankins with 2, Eisenstadt with 1, Carlone with 1, and Knowles with 1 coming in. Before the first pitch to the right fielder to check on the catcher. One of the few catchers you'll see who needs to be checked on at first. Whether that's because they think he's going to take an extra big lead with Hunsaker looking to put one down, which we've seen him do successfully, or because they're worried about Briggs going, and he is going. Hunsaker swings and misses to protect him. The throw down to second is in time, and they got Brody Briggs.
Yeah, I just don't like the decision there. I know Briggs is a fast catcher, but still just, you have that base runner on as a threat already to start the inning, and you just immediately eliminate it.
And honestly, I think that Briggs might have been called out anyways because Hunsaker really extended that swing to protect him. That one-hand extension towards the end made it tough for Worthgen, and he was kind of complaining to the home plate umpire. So would have been interested to see how that would have worked if Briggs was safe. Unfortunately, we won't get to find out because the throw beat him. Good throw by Worthgen, especially with Hunsaker's bat kind of in his way. It's now a ball and a strike with the pitches outside, and you could make the argument, hey, I'd rather see Hunsaker lay one down because now we're with an out and nobody on, and in that situation you'd be an out, the guy on second. But on the flip side, if Briggs could have taken second, we could have seen Hunsaker lay one down the first base line to try to get him over to third. 2 balls, 1 strike. Swinging a foul tip from Hunsaker. After him, it'll be Will Burns, and then hopefully this inning back to the top.
Yeah, I really agree with you, Will. I think that would have just been better to see Hunsaker try to lay down a bunt there, get Briggs in a scoring position.
2 balls, 2 strikes. 95 pitches so far for Hayes, and his 96th is a good one as Hunsaker foul tips the breaking ball into the mid of Worthgen.
Yeah, it looks like Hayes, and I know it's bad to say that we're just picking up on this now, but it looks like he has the slider and the curveball, and that one looks like a lot of horizontal movement. I think that was the slider used to get Hunsaker.
So now Will Burns trying to prevent Hayes from facing the minimum here, especially with his pitch count so high. Would love to see him throw a few extra or force the Oilers to get into that bullpen. Just 8 hits, between these two teams combined. As that one served on the right side. Easy play for Rothberg, who makes the looping throw to Zachary Ferris. Hayes faces the minimum thanks to Akkad stealing the head of the final 3 frames. Still just a 1-0 Bucks lead. Back for the top of the 7th inning, Will Hopkins alongside Vic Maslia. Max Rothberg coming to the plate. Jeremiah Arnett staying out there for the Bucs. So far, so good from him. 6 up, 6 down, and now through 6 innings. We make a change on the mic. It's Vic Maslia.
Thank you, Will. Max Rothberg, Cody New, Cole Wilson due up to face Jeremiah Arnett, who's already ready and delivers a ball just a bit outside.
And Rothberg had that super interesting play last time to the plate. Brody Briggs caught his bunt and then threw out Robson at second.
This is hit on a line to right field, but it's going to hang up there for Riley Hunsaker. Just a couple of pitches takes care of Max Rothberg. Arnett, after striking out the side in the 5th inning, had a 6-pitch inning, if that, just last inning?
First two guys were only 2 pitches, and then I believe it was 4 pitches to retire Ferris on strike, 6 or 7.
So that'll bring up Cody New. First pitch he sees, fouls it out of play. So definitely a different approach from these Oilers batters, trying to jump on Arnett early. I think they know that if they get behind in the count, because they take a pitch or two, they might come back to bite them, and they might not ever get another pitch to hit. And Cody New might have that case for himself as he's down 0-2. Could be the next victim for Arnett. Seeming that when he gets ahead of these batters, it's like there's no chance they can put it in play. 0-2, that's the case here. 0-2 called strike 3, Cody New. Asked the umpire where that one was, but that did not look like a bad pitch at all from Arnett.
Yeah, if anything, New probably just a little bit upset at the late strike call, but like we normally see from this home plate umpire, pretty emphatic call and a great job by Arnett working that breaking ball in there. So easy for these batters to freeze on it.
Batter now, Cole Wilson, and he hits this well out to right field. That's going to get over the head of Riley Hunsaker. He gets to it quick, but heading into second base with a stand-up double is Cole Wilson, and that's the first big hit or first base hit at all given up by Arnett.
And if I'm not mistaken, first extra base hit for anybody tonight?
Yep, that's what I got.
On either side.
It's just the 8 hit between the two teams. First 3 for the Oilers coming via the single, and then the same for the Bucs. All 4 hits the single. And that will bring up Brock Worthgen. Worthgen so far tonight has struck out twice in his 2 lone appearances.
Made a great throw just a few moments ago, though.
It immediately killed the Bucs rally. Brody Briggs, a leadoff base hit, and then was erased by that throw from Worthgen. First one misses upstairs. Luckily for Arnett, he got 2 quick outs, so just that runner at second. But one pitch could take care of Worthgen. Huge hole on the right side with Knowles holding on Wilson. Arnett going to take a look back at him.
And even though there's 2 outs, this double just feels like such a rally because there have been so few scoring opportunities for both sides.
Lights on here at Mulcahy Stadium, just the second time all season. Not sure if that was intentional at all. 1-0, misses outside. And tonight doesn't look too overcast to have the lights on. Doesn't look more overcast than the other days that we've had here at this time.
Yeah, maybe just 30 minutes ago or so it was, but it has cleared up a little bit.
Yeah, I was about to say, it does look a little bit brighter. I'm noticing the lights more now. At first I wasn't. It was acting as the sun a little bit.
I'd assume they'll just go ahead and keep them on.
Time called, most likely by Worthgen. Looks like it's Adam Inyart in the bullpen warming up for the Bucs. He does have the sweatshirt on, so just getting light tosses in for now. Arnett's game for the time being. Here in the top half of the 7th, 2-0 pitch, called strike. Throw down to second, and Wilson had no idea that that ball was coming down there. It seems like a play that Knowles and Briggs are working on, and Knowles has a big grin on his face at second base. And if Wilson was further off the bag, he was out because he had no idea that throw was coming back. Arnett did a good job too. I don't know if he was expecting it, but he didn't duck or anything. So didn't give it away. 2-1, swung on and missed. And Wilson's got to be careful. The throw down, and that one's even closer. And he is just toying with Brody Briggs at Peyton Knowles. But like I said, he's got to be careful because he might get another no look.
The thing that's really catching him off guard is the fact that Briggs is waiting a second and almost having a similar motion to how he would just throw the ball back to Arnett, and then he just throws it a little harder and a little higher, and it gives Wilson a little less time to react because he doesn't know it's happening.
2-2, misses upstairs. Count runs full.
And of course now Wilson almost sprinting back to second base after the pitch.
I would be too. It's already embarrassing enough to get thrown out at second like that, but the guy looking like he's throwing it at 50% power because he has the same motion going back to the pitcher. That's even got to be even more embarrassing. So rain is picked back up again a little bit. Another 3-2 pitch to come for Worthgen. Here it is, and he fouls it out of play. I'd say the 3-2 counts for the Bucs have been won a lot by the Oilers. Have been have a good bit of walks. One back in the first inning, and then not one until the fourth.
Both the walks from Colin Robson.
Yeah, so not many walks, I should say, I guess, but 3-2 count works in favor of the Oilers again, and it just seemed like the first 3-2 counts to Robson he walked on, and this one again, now Worthkin walks on him.
Yeah, unfortunate for Arnett. Does create a force if needed. Obviously, with 2 outs, it's not the most important thing, but in such a tight game, Wilson's not the only runner that matters. If there's a gapper with 2 outs and the runner's going on contact, if Worthkin could get around, I mean, you could go from winning to trailing so quickly. Margin for error in so many of these Bucs games lately, because of how tight they've been, is so small, and it's unfortunate for Arnett and the rest of the pitchers because they've been pitching so well, and they should have more wins and more saves and things like that, but the Bucs bats just haven't really given them a ton of help. Also puts a lot of extra pressure on the fielders. Really no room for errors, literally.
So the meeting breaks up between Briggs and Arnett. It'll be Aiden Sullivan, who has struck out in his 2 lone appearances. Before Wilson and Worthkin batted, the bottom 3 of the Oilers order, all of them had 2 strikeouts, and they're only 2 at bats. And now Wilson and Worthkin, a single and a walk, or a double and a walk respectively, have broken that trend. Aiden Sullivan trying to break it for himself and break the trend altogether. Cold strike onto him. Arnett ready again at the stretch now. 0-1, it misses outside. Mostly working from the windup with nobody on base. 5th and 6th inning, just had to work through the windup, and through the first 2 batters did as well. But now, out of the stretch. 1-1 pitch. Hit to left field down the line, but it's foul, thankfully for the Bucs. Could have been trouble, but right size, wrong shape for Aiden Sullivan, and he's down 1-2.
Yeah, I'm predicting a strikeout here from Arnett. We've had a strikeout in every inning so far, and I think Arnett keeps it going. I'm going out on the limb.
All right, well, I was trying to will the extra base hit last inning. Maybe you'll get more luck here with the strikeout from Arnett. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. The pitch from Arnett. And that one is not a cold strike. Arnett was about 3 strides off of the rubber, walking back to the dugout, and that one did look a little bit inside, but Sullivan does creep up on the mound, or creeps up on the home plate a little bit, but I don't know.
Sullivan was right-handed. I think that's called a strike in that spot.
Agreed. 2-2 pitch, just gets a piece of it foul. Wind blowing in still from left field. Not much of it, though. Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Pitch from Arnett is upstairs, and another 3-ball, 2-strike count. This time, I think the Bucs have got to win it. Do not want to load the bases up with the top of the order coming up.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Never want to load the bases, but especially in a 1-run game with the top of the order looming.
Arnett going to step off again. Inyard has taken off the sweatshirt, so it seems like things are ramping up a little bit in the bullpen. Arnett set at the belt. The payoff pitch. Popped him up. Shallow right field. Burns heads out. Callahan sprinting in, and it'll be Callahan who makes it for out number 3. So Arnett gets the first 2 guys, gives up a double and a walk, but gets the last man in Aiden Sullivan. So 1 hit, no runs, and 2 left on base. We head to the bottom half of the 7th, but we head to the stretch first. So enjoy the 7th inning stretch. Still a 1-0 lead for the Bucs. Welcome back to Mulcahy Stadium. New hurler on for the Oilers, but has only pitched in one game. Just that one appearance, one inning, zeros.
Yes, Seth Wrightstone goes to Mount San Antonio College, where head coach Larry McCann is an assistant coach, and just a couple of appearances so far for Wrightstone. Most recently pitched yesterday, and after that 4-run top of the seventh for Chinooks, came in just to face one batter and get an out to finish things up, but the damage had already been done in game 2 of that doubleheader, or game 1, excuse me, I should say. And his first appearance coming a little bit earlier, back on July 6th. And for Wrightstone that day, it was a full inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, and no strikeouts.
He'll face against the top of the order in Max Ross, leadoff batter, and then Cole Carlone and Ryan Callahan to follow in suit. The Wrightstone, a freshie for the ADL. Lefty to face a heavy left-handed hitting Bucs team as Max Ross gives this a ride to center field. Long run for Colin Robson, but he grabs that as the hat flies off. One down here in the seventh.
Yeah, Robson's first step was back, but had enough time to come in. Pulled a little bit of Zane Kelly with the cap coming off. Wrightstone out of Laverne, California, 6'1", 185.
So the Bucs, similar to their past 3 or 4 games, it seems, or at least 2 or 3 games, where they put up a run in the first inning and just goose eggs ever since. Against the Miners, 3 runs in the first inning. Same thing against the Oilers, 3 runs in that first inning. Fortunately, against the Oilers, they were able to hold on to that lead, but they did give up 2 runs and made it really close at the end. Next one to Carlone. Ground ball out to Rothberg at second. The peg to first is in time, out number 2, and Rothberg was way deep in the hole there, expecting Carlone, if he does pull the ball, to pull it pretty hard, and good positioning.
Yeah, and talking about the runs, though, for the Bucs after the first inning, you have to go back 10 days. I understand there have been some rainouts and some days off, but still, 10 days in the midst of a baseball season without a run after the first inning is insane. It was that 9-run performance against the Oilers, not this past Friday, but the one before that.
On a called strike, and first couple you could just say that, the Miners looked really good. Their pitching staff has been really sharp, but at a certain point it's the Bucs bats maybe just getting a little too comfortable. One pitch misses downstairs, and I shouldn't say that because a 1-run lead will is not comfortable. Me and you both know that, but still, just having that feeling of being ahead. We are leading, we are winning this game, and then they're not scoring. They're not scoring again. Well, our pitchers are doing well. Maybe that just is that comfortability is getting into the minds of these hitters, just not wanting to keep adding on to these leads. And it's a long summer season. I know you said that earlier today, Will, but it's even longer considering the fact that this is not just a 30-40 game season. This one swung on a miss by Callahan. This is the end of a huge college spring ball season, so you're really playing close to 100 games.
Plus the non-league.
Right, between all of your college games and then all of these games, and these guys are tired. Deuce is wild, the pitch is outside, outruns full, but like I said, these guys are really tired, especially the guys that played a lot at their schools, and even the ones that didn't. You're still going through the day-to-day practices and all that stuff. These guys are just probably worn out. 3-2 pitch in the dirt, a 2-out walk to Ryan Callahan, and this is a point in the season where you would say, well, the team should have, a really good chemistry and should be really close to each other, really tight with each other, and really have that team mindset. But in a sense, they're gassed from their seasons before. They still haven't had time to mesh with the other guys on the team. It's really hard to get yourself out of that individual mindset and get yourself into a team mindset. And I think that the fact that the Bucs did that so early on means that maybe it's just run out a little bit. First pitch to Eisenstadt misses outside. What do you think?
The first inning thing is just so weird to me, though, because, there were some shutouts mixed in there, but it's now 3 straight games where they have scored in the first inning, and then, at least up to this point, haven't scored in any of the other ones. I don't think there's a real explanation for that.
No, there's not. I'm trying to give all of you guys at home my best explanation, and that's all I got is maybe they're just getting a little too comfortable with their leads. And I know 1 run is not supposed to make you feel comfortable, but just that fact that, we're winning this game, we're ahead, and our pitchers have looked really good, and kind of just playing back on that fact. Ground ball through the hole, but a great stop by Rothwork. Gets up to his feet, and that one is hauled in by Zachary Ferris. So Rothwork takes away a base hit from Tommy Eisenstadt. Playing deep into the hole, it helps out sometimes. We head to the 8th inning. It's a little 1-0 lead for the Bucs as they try to hold on. Top half of the 8th inning. Still a 1-0 lead from the Bucs. Not much has changed at all since the first inning, but a couple of things have changed since the past inning for the Bucs. Into play second base for Peyton Knowles is Martell Davis as he catches that one from Brody Briggs. And onto the hill now for the Bucs is Adam Inyart. Inyart for Anchorage this year. This will be his 8th appearance. He has 2 saves, 9 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, a 1.86 ERA, and he's another guy, Will, that every time we see him come out to pitch, it seems like that ERA goes down bit by bit.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. Last pitched on Wednesday, and that was probably his best performance yet, just because of longevity. 3 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. So he pitched fantastically.
And we've seen him come into the later games more so than the middle part of games, as this is grounded through the right side for a base hit. Riley Hunsaker will fire that back in. But what I was saying was, with those 2 saves, we saw him a lot coming in the 9th inning. Sometimes non-save situations, but still coming in the 9th inning to close it out for the Bucs. And he's just been really good in that role. But last time out, the 3 innings pitched, definitely something that we weren't used to seeing from Inyart. Only the 1 inning, maybe 2 innings here and there, but just the 1 inning for the most part. But seeing him go 3, it just gives you a lot of reassurance as a pitching coach in general, and even the guys in the field that you could put the ball in his hands for any type of situation.
And he's also pitched well against this team. This is his 3rd outing, first 2, an inning pitched in each one, and no runs in each one, just 1 hit. So now up to 2 hits with that hit from Soto. And talking about Martell Davis coming in for Peyton Knowles, as far as I was told, he's going to be leaving here shortly, so maybe one of the last opportunities we have to see him play.
So Cole Dawson with a 1-0 count. Inyart checks on Soto. That was Soto's first base hit of the night. It was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, and he's just been struggling this year. Still hitting under the Mendoza line, but Will, he's got the 2nd most at-bats on the team, and I know he's a sure-handed glove at shortstop, but you'd think that they might try to give him a couple days off. That one's popped in the air, but it's going to be out of reach for Josh Hankins at 3rd.
I mean, compared to other teams, we really just don't see the Oilers switch their lineup up very often, especially towards the top. Soto, Dawson, Robson is almost always the top 3. Rothberg almost always in that 5th spot. So I guess Coach McCann and company just really like the way things are, and they're at 500 now, but you wonder if maybe they'd be looking to make a couple of changes, especially with a 5-game losing streak.
We'll see if they do, especially if the Bucs win tonight. And Dawson fouled that one off, but that was nowhere near, and Adam Inyard gets a lucky strike.
Yeah, he really stabbed at that bunt attempt. First one was popped up, and I think the Bucs are almost going to be disappointed that there's 2 strikes, and he's probably not going to be bunting anymore because there's been some opportunities for a good result. We've already had a result tonight off of a bunt that is way better than you could ever imagine with a double play.
1-2, he's squaring again. Inyard just going to go check on first. Andrew Rudd has grabbed a ball and has started warming up in the Bucs bullpen, so Inyard might not be the last guy out. Like I said, usually we've seen him just for the 1 inning, and it's been late in the games like this. Dawson pulls it back, hits it down the right field line, but foul. And because Inyard can go 3 innings, we may go 2 innings, but it may be Rudd for the night.
Yeah, and understandable that Dawson was late on that pitch. They're asking a lot of him to show bunt, or maybe that's just up to him, but the showing bunt part and then taking it away and then swinging, understandable that he's late and couldn't keep that fair.
Not squaring yet, at least. He does square now, pulls it back, and he gets it down. Briggs is going to wait for it to go foul, and it does! A great play by Brody Briggs waiting on that one. And he's going to be called out. Soto's going to have to return to first base, and it's 1 down. And a potential double play opportunity in full effect.
And great job by Brody Briggs, because I wasn't so sure that was going to go foul, but I think Briggs just had a really good read on that ball, obviously pretty close to it. It didn't go foul by much, but he did a great job to touch it as soon as it did.
That's another strikeout for the Bucs. So the tally just keeps going up. Batter now is Colin Robson before Zachary Ferris. Check back over to first. Soto's in there. Robson, one of the better hitters for the Oilers. It's going to be tough to get him to ground into a double play.
The Bucs have gotten a double play on a bunt and a bunt foul with 2 strikes. Pretty good day defensively against the bunt.
It sure is. But no other double plays of any sort, so...
To be fair, not a lot of base runners.
No, not at all. Just 5 hits for the Oilers and a couple of walks. No pitches yet to Robson. I was looking at the scoreboard. Is this one sky to left field? Ryan Callahan comes over, and 1 pitch takes care of Colin Robson. That's a huge out. Colin Robson, one of the better hitters for the Oilers, could have definitely put up a huge fight against Inyard here in the 8th inning, but just the 1 pitch takes care of him, and look at that. 2 down all of a sudden after that leadoff single by Soto.
Yeah, already 3 Oilers to the plate and just 8 pitches from Adam Inyard. Wonder if that will factor in at all to Andrew Rudd coming in if Inyard gets out of this one in 10 pitches or so.
Inyard is the 3rd pitcher used. I've said before the Bucs' magic number is around 4. Anything less is a really good day. And tonight is an example of a really good day, but they still could go with 4 pitchers, and that might just be to vary the different types of arms that these Oilers are seeing and really trying to mess with them. They did see Halverson for at least 2 at-bats every batter, I think. 1-0 misses inside.
Yeah, it's always tough for us to predict how long these guys are going to go. They aren't always going to share the exact number of innings, and even if they do, obviously, some of that meant to be kept private, but innings and pitches, a lot these managers have to work through.
2-0, ground ball out to Burns. He'll step on second, and Adam Inyard works around the leadoff base hit. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, 1 left. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Score still 1-0 Bucs, looking for some insurance. Bottom half of the eighth, last chance for the Bucs before they try to take a one-run lead into the ninth inning, and we've seen how that's gone. One-run leads and late in these games, especially against a team like the Miners, it's just very risky to do so. And even at home, got a bad taste left in our mouths from those Miners walking it off against us here at home not too long ago. Called strike to Josh Hankins, who leads it off here in the eighth inning.
Yeah, would definitely love some more runs. I mean, I feel like a broken record, but we've been talking about it for a few days now, just how much this team has struggled to score after the first inning. And
0-2, foul out of play. And Adam Inyard, I don't believe, will come out for the ninth inning, but Andrew Rudd has sat down at least, or has stopped warming up for the time being, so we'll be interested to see who comes out for the ninth inning. No balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. That one's in the dirt, and this is a great moment where, Inyard has been super good, Rudd has been super good, and all the pitchers have been really good, but this is also a moment where you would love to have a guy like Brody Purcell come back and be ready to go and pitch for the Bucs. He was just outstanding, especially late in the games. 1-2, ground ball towards second. Rothberg off his glove, and that one, it will not end up making a play at first as he bobbled it around too much.
And even though it's a backhanded tough play, that's a ball that he's got to glove. I understand it's difficult, but he's patting himself on the chest right now, and I think that's a play he's got to make, and it's going to go down as an error.
I agree. So that will bring up Martell Davis, who came in to relieve Peyton Knowles at second base. So he will get likely one of his last at-bats of the summer, at least for ABL, and he's going to square to bunt. Look how selfless he is.
Yeah, one of his last chances at the plate, and just doing whatever Coach Sanagorski says over there by third base. And if he can get that runner into scoring position and Hankins can come around to score, he'd be responsible for that too. So even if he doesn't end things with a hit, I'm sure it would be good to go out with such a big contribution at the plate.
Back-to-back good takes from Martell. Lefty right stone on the hill. That one is down and away. Knowles is the lefty, so Martell Davis was not put into the game because of, because of the lefty-righty matchup, just to maybe give him a last opportunity. 3-0 pitch, called strike on the upstairs part of the zone. He squares again with a 3-1 count and fouls it off of himself, so count runs full.
That was pretty close to going off of himself in fair territory.
And they're going to meet right now, but I thought that the ball was bouncing around in one of the batter's boxes, and I didn't think that it was in fair territory, and they're going to say it's a foul ball.
It was close, though. It was definitely close. Would have been an awful way for the Bucs to pick up an out.
So the count runs full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. The Bucs trying to take advantage of the leadoff guy reaching base via the error. They'll check on Hankins, who's in there safely. Bullpen's totally quiet. 3-2 pitch and fouls that back, and that's going to be out number 1. And I don't get it. I really don't get that at all.
I'm never a fan of bunting with 2 strikes, in all honesty. It does work sometimes. I believe we've seen the Bucs do it successfully a time or two, but just really don't like your chances. Obviously, he took the first strike, but you've already failed to put one down once. It's a big gamble.
So now Brody Briggs up, and he takes a cold strike, and yeah, just really can't get over that. I mean, I think the struggle to score runs, and just such a 50-50 chance. Like, you lay it down and good, but if you lay it down and you go right back to the pitcher, it's either a double play or kind of right back where you started and with an out. And then if you don't get it down, it's an out, and that runner still is on first base. So I'm just kind of confused on what the approach is from the Bucs. I know you're trying to play small ball, but that's not really an instance to do it with 2 strikes, I think. 0-1 called strike on the outer half, and Brody Briggs dips his head back. That one looked a little bit too far off the plate.
That's kind of similar to what we were seeing the first few innings.
Wrightstone quickly ahead 0-2, and they're going to get Hankins, and they throw to second. That one gets away. Hankins is going to be safe at second base. Zachary Ferris threw the ball into left field. Soto had no chance of getting it.
Yeah, for Ferris, I guess maybe not super used to throwing to a moving target. Kind of threw it to where Soto was instead of where Soto was going.
Right.
And Soto had absolutely no chance of fielding that ball.
And apologies for saying that they got Hankins, because Hankins took off immediately, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do, because even if you get caught like that, Hankins still had a really good jump, so you've got to make a perfect throw and a perfect tag from Soto, and one of those things didn't happen, which caused the other thing to not happen, as that one's outside to Brody Briggs. But like I was saying, Bucs have done a good job of trying to read lefties, but have also done a really good job of when they get caught, they continue to run to second base, put their head down, and don't stop until they reach the bag. A lot of guys just accept defeat, try to get into a rundown, and then they never get out of it, as that one misses upstairs. But for Hankins, you also seen Peyton Knowles do this sometimes, and Will Burns, I believe, where they get caught by a lefty pitcher trying to go to second. But I love the hustle, just putting your head down, not accepting defeat, and not trying to get into a rundown, because 90% of the time, or 95% of the time, you're not going to get out of a rundown. Briggs fouls this one back.
Yeah, you're really, I feel like only chance of getting out of a rundown is when there's another guy on base who can kind of distract or keep them from really going all out to get you out. But Hankins obviously didn't have that luxury in this situation. Did a good job of just busting it as hard as he could to second. Make the defense make a play.
2-2, hit up the middle, base hit. Santagorsi gonna give the green light. Here comes Hankins. The throw is nowhere near, and the Bucs are up 2-0. Brody Briggs storms his way into second base, and finally, the Bucs are able to score late into this game.
So huge for the Bucs to get that run, because like we said, it's been so tough for the Bucs to score after the first inning, and not only that, but just increasing what was only a one-run lead.
So some gifts from the infield, specifically Rothberg at second and Ferris at first. This will prompt a pitching change most likely. We also have Dylan Maltby coming in to pinch hit for Riley Hunsaker. But first, McCann going to make his way out on the mound, and is either a long talk with the skipper or a likely pitching change. But the whole infield gathers on the hill, and it looks like McCann's probably going to take the ball. But now, figuring that he hasn't pointed to the outfield, maybe that is not the case. But just like that, I was about to say before that base hit, you got one out. You've just been handed 2 errors that gets the runner up at second base. You should have 2 outs right now and should be looking at a 1-run lead in the 9th inning. You're gifted those 2 errors. You gotta capitalize on it, and the Bucs finally did that, and it's huge.
Yeah, but right before the pitch, I was going to say, gotta make them capitalize for that mistake. Not only do they keep themselves from getting another out, but they give you a runner in scoring position, kind of a double whammy, and also just a great job. We see the speed from Hankins putting stress on the Oilers on 2 plays there. Not only the error from the first baseman Ferris, but coming around on that single from Briggs, and by putting that stress, he made Robson kind of do a little bit too much with that throw, and so wisely Briggs going into scoring position on that throw could be another big run for the Bucs.
So Dylan Maltby bats for Riley Hunsaker. The first pitch he sees is a called strike. Maltby has not had a lot of at-bats this summer, just the 14, and last game he played in was able to pick up his first hit in league play. Remind you, in a non-league doubleheader, absolutely 2 great games from him, and just wish those counted towards the stat as he dribbles this one foul. But 1 hit, and he drove in 2 runs, so that's been huge. The 2 walks as well. So it's good to see him finally break through, and would love to see another RBI here just to pad the lead a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to probably have to play more and more as this roster just loses numbers and guys.
Definitely should see him DHing a little bit. 0-2 misses outside. Thinking that Callahan probably has to move back in permanently to the infield, which means Lamb has to be in the outfield a lot more. Probably won't have a lot of opportunities to be behind the plate catching. which might mean that Maltby would be catching a lot too. 1-2 misses outside.
Yeah, especially with those double headers. Brody Briggs unlikely to be catching both games in one day.
Two-two pitch to Maltby. That one gets away from Workin. Sprinting to third is Briggs. Takes a big turn and he retreats back as Wrightstone wisely covers home plate.
Yeah, that right. Unfortunately for Worthkin, he had absolutely no chance. Wrightstone pulled that ball into the other batter's box. Really made it tough on his catcher.
So that makes it a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Maltby, despite not having many at-bats, always likes to go deep, I feel like, into at-bats. Sees a lot of pitches. Definitely not a first pitch hitter. 3-2. That's outside, ball 4. And a well-deserved base from Dylan Maltby. Like I said, every time I see Maltby up in his 14 at-bats, it seems like all of them have been pretty long. He always likes to see a lot of pitches, and I really like that about his approach.
100%. Did a great job there. Went down in the count a little bit and really worked it back. And I was going to say I'd love to see a pinch runner for him so that the Bucs could maybe get into some first and third trickery, but I'm not sure how many guys the Bucs have, but they do have Andrew Lamb.
Yep. And it's just like you called that. Dylan Maltby comes in, pinch hits, does his job, gets himself on base, and will go back and have a rest. So how about that? Andrew Lamb will run for him. And it's crazy that we didn't even mention that Lamb's not in the lineup tonight. It's just weird not seeing him play maybe in left field or right field or in the infield or behind home plate or even DHing. We see him at almost every position, so it's weird to not see him in the lineup. And I can't believe I haven't mentioned it till now.
Well, in all honesty, he was probably going to come in the top of the ninth because Dylan Maltby wasn't going to play right field.
Right.
So we probably would have seen him. But yeah, definitely a bat that's missing for the Bucs, but they'll be leaning on him heavily soon.
Burns squares. They'll throw back to third. Briggs is going to head home, but now he's in a pickle. They'll throw back to third. He slides in, but they're going to get him out. So 2 down as Briggs tried to make a sneaky play. That would have been a close bang-bang play if Briggs had retreated to third once Worthkin threw it, but I do think that they would have had Briggs either way, so I think that it was the best decision to try to dart home just in case Worthkin threw that ball wildly.
Yeah, just unfortunate not to see that play executed, but a good job by Andrew Lamb taking the extra base.
Of course, wish those positions in the pickles were reversed and Lamb was in one so that Briggs might have a chance to score, but that's not the case. Lamb's still in scoring position. Will Burns just needs a base hit to bring him in. That one just a bit outside. And for Wrightstone, that's probably an awful feeling. Having some trouble facing the Bucs and not getting that outside part of the plate that's been called all night.
Yeah, definitely something he wishes he would get. Still a big spot here.
2-0. Catches a corner. I don't see how that one could be called a strike and not the one before it, but guess I might be seeing things up here. 2 balls, 1 strike. Andrew Rudd is still stretching out in the bullpen. He's been up and down with this long inning. 2-1, another called strike. That's the same pitch as 2 pitches before, but apparently was looked at differently by the home plate umpire. Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Lamb standing aboard at second base. Wrightstone brings the offering. That one is hit towards third. Cole Dawson has that, and that is out number 3. So Wrightstone gets in a little bit of trouble, but some late help from the defense. He's able to just get out of it, surrendering the 1 run. So the Bucs will just have the 2-run lead, but it's better than the 1-run lead heading into the 9th inning. It looks like it will be Andrew Rudd to come out for the save when we come back. 2-0. Good guys lead it. Welcome back. Top half of the ninth. The Bucs trying to get the wind as the rain is picking up, so maybe not a lot of time left, but they played with rain pretty much the whole game, so it shouldn't affect them now. Andrew Rudd on the hill, like I said. The first pitch he throws is popped up into right field. Andrew Lamb newly into the game, shades over and just outside of the line, hauls that one in for out number one. So one pitch from Rudd and one down for Andrew Rudd. This is his ninth appearance. He is 2-1 despite all of his outings coming from the pen. He does have one save, 20 innings pitched on the dot, 18 hits, 2 runs, one of them earned. Good for a .45 ERA. That's the lowest on the team, Will.
Yeah, last time out, 2 1/3, 1 run, but that was unearned.
The batter, Cody New, after Max Rothworth popped up to right field. Next one, swing and a miss. Rudd working pretty fast here. Looked like the changeup tailing away from Cody New. New 1 for 3. 2 strikeouts and a base hit. 0-2 pitch. A ground ball. Andrew Rudd trying to field it, and that one's going to head out of play. And actually, Cody New was running in Rudd's path, and I wonder if he intentionally tried to slow up a little bit so Rudd wouldn't have made the play when the ball was still in fair territory.
Yeah, it was
That was a little awkward.
Yeah, it was an awkward play. Perfect word.
That's kind of smart a little bit. I think New probably knew he would have been out. So he just slowed up a little bit and let that ball go foul. Pretty smart play. We'll see if Rudd has something else in store for him. No balls, 2 strikes. Righty-lefty matchup in favor of New. The pitch in the dirt. This guy feels so good on the mound when you just have a 2-run lead. First pitch, pop-up out. 1-2, just misses inside.
Not only a pop-up out, but it was in foul territory, so there wasn't even any chance of anything positive coming from it for the Oilers.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Rain really picking up here now. This one's fouled away. Well, we started this game with Wyatt Halverson striking out the side in the first inning. That was sandwiched in between. Now that one fouled back, but that was in between a walk and a single, but still struck out the side, and it looks like Cody New lost his bat.
Big time.
I don't know how I didn't notice that until just now. But like I said, started with Halverson, clean frame, and then the Bucs just got the 1 run in the bottom half of the first, leaving the bases loaded. And then Goose Eggs all the way up until last half inning, where the Bucs are able to just scratch across 1 more run. It's Brody Briggs with that RBI single to bring in Josh Hankins. But that is it. Other than that, whole bunch of zeros for both teams.
Surprising this game has taken as long as it has, given the lack of offense from both teams.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch just misses. Not by much, though. Now a 3-ball, 2-strike count as it goes full.
Would really love to see Rudd throw a strike here. If New gets a hit, he does, but make him earn it.
3-2, that's in the dirt. Briggs liked the spot despite it being a walk, but the the tying run comes to the plate.
Yeah, so nice that tying run isn't on base. Such a valuable insurance run in the 8th, but still not a lot of breathing room.
Still waiting on would-be Cole Wilson to come up to the plate. Wondering now if there's a pinch hitter, but it is going to just be Cole Wilson as he took his sweet time. Wilson batting towards the bottom of the order, being an outfielder, pretty tall stature, would be an ideal candidate for a double play. First pitch he sees called strike. Good frame job by Brody Briggs. Knuckled foul by Wilson. 6 hits for the Bucs on those 2 runs. 5 hits for the Oilers, but nothing to show for it. And those 2 Oilers errors coming last inning.
So big.
Second base and first base, respectively. And that ended up moving Hankins all the way around and eventually scored. 0-2. Just missed. A good pitch by Rudd. It actually Those two errors were the reason, or one of them was the reason why Hankins was able to reach. The second one was why he why he got to second base, and then Brody Briggs was able to get him in with a RBI single. One fouled straight back, and now what I said earlier in the game with the Oilers outfielders so far back, I'm wondering if later in the game they should have brought them in a little bit more and might have had a closer play at Josh Hankins. 1-2 misses low and outside.
Yeah, definitely a good point. Whether it's positioning or just performance errors from the Oilers, costing them that extra run makes it all the more difficult for them to come back here.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Rudd trying to get Wilson here. The pitch fouled back our way.
A little bit lucky it didn't take out one of the cameras up here. Synergy recording a lot of these games for the players to get that feedback.
Long fight by Wilson. 2-2 again. And this is just a bit outside. Thought we saw that call be a strike the first couple of frames, or at least first half of this game, but now it's tightened up a little bit as we've gone on.
Yeah, was definitely consistent at the beginning, not anymore.
So payoff pitch, here it is, and he pops it foul out of play.
Ground ball here would just be such an emphatic way for the Bucs to get this win. Not the best game in the hitting category, but pitchers deserve this shutout.
Rudd, a long at-bat against Wilson. Another payoff pitch. Oh, and it misses just a bit upstairs. And these are some of the same calls that the Bucs have been getting all night, and now the zone has just shrunk tremendously.
Yeah, and that puts the tying run on the go-ahead run up to the plate. Definitely not what you want to see. And Coach Montez is now going to go have a word with Andrew Rudd, going up there pretty quickly.
And no one in the bullpen, of course, for the Bucs. This is Andrew Rudd's game. And he got that first out, no problem. Just the one pitch took care of Rothberg, and now in a good bit of trouble here as Montez is going to try to talk him down. But Montez is just so smart with his words and what he says out there. I feel like every time he goes out just for a mound visit, which doesn't happen often, I feel like every time he comes out there, it's usually to change the pitcher. Usually he trusts, I love that he trusts Briggs a lot to have those mound visits. Like I said, anytime that Montez comes out there, it's usually for a pitching change, but when we've seen him come out for mound visits, it usually does a trick, and we're just hoping that's the case right now.
Yeah, oftentimes we've seen pretty immediate results.
So the batter now, Brock Worthgen. 2 strikeouts and a walk in his last plate appearance back in the 7th inning. Righty-righty matchup. First pitch he sees called strike. Good start by Rudd. Over there at second, Cody New, Cole Wilson at first.
Just 5 hits for the Oilers. Would love to see Rudd continue to find the zone. Make them put the ball in play.
Defense has been so good all season long. 0-1. Misses just a little bit. You know this defense wants it. They do such a good job all year. You know the pitchers trust them, but sometimes just trying to pitch to their best ability they think, and sometimes that's not putting the ball in play. But work to the other team's weakness, and right now that's base hits. Swung on and missed, 1-2 count.
Yeah, I mean, if Rudd can get swings and misses like that, go for it. But definitely got to trust your defense. Been one of the best defenses in the league so far. Clean baseball tonight.
Dugout trying to get the fans here to bring some noise, help out Rudd just a little bit, but you know, there's a scarcity in that with the rain falling. Big swing and a miss. Andrew Rudd gets the swinging strikeout. Brock Worthgen makes it 2 down here, and the Bucs just 1 out away.
Yep, Worthgen giving some words of advice to Sullivan. Always find it interesting when the batter struggles at the plate. It'd be one thing if you hit it hard and have to go to the dugout that way, but Worthgen just barely getting a piece of it and not enough to take it out of the glove from Brody Briggs.
Yeah, it's probably more like saying to the other player, don't do what I just did, and that's probably what Worthgen is saying. So Aiden Sullivan, the last hope for the Oilers, takes a called strike to start, and you can tell this dugout's pretty rowdy. Everyone's on the top step right now, and they're drowning out any fans that might still be here with the rain coming down. It's looked like it's let up just a little bit, still drizzling. Maybe that'll help Rudd a little bit. No balls, 1 strike, 2 down. The pitch just gets a piece of it, fouls it back, and the Oilers down to their final strike.
And I can see why these Bucs would be super excited with this win. Haven't played the best baseball lately. Last game of the regular season against the Oilers, and seen a little bit of bad blood between these two.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Rudd comes set at the belt. The pitch just a bit upstairs.
And I like that 0-2. Don't give Sullivan something super good to hit in that count.
Rudd set again at the belt, takes a look at New at second. Now the 1-2, ground ball. Martell Davis has it, Fields throws in, what a play! The Bucs win! A 2-0 victory, capped off by a really tough play by Martell Davis that made look easy. And the Bucs back in the win column, a huge victory over a struggling Oilers team that still is a contender in this playoff. That is surely to come very soon, and the Bucs will play in just a couple of weeks in a huge win. 2-0 victory, just 6 hits is all the Bucs needed to get it done. And the Oilers, unfortunately, shut out by this phenomenal pitching staff that the Bucs have, Will.
And like you said, back in the win column, that was the exact phrase I had ready to go for Twitter. Luckily didn't jinx it and able to get that posted. And great to see the Bucs post a win. And we talked about how Martell Davis is leaving here shortly. If that is his last play as a Buck, what a play it is to have such a difficult play. That ball coming in on a few hops, but the last hop, a super short hop, and he was running so far over to first base, a really awkward angle, and a good play by Eisenstadt to secure it, and a great job by these Bucs. And like you said, the offense not at its best today. I think that extra run in the 8th definitely making things a little bit less stressful for Andrew Rudd, but each and every pitcher that came in for the Bucs did absolutely fantastically, top to bottom. Halverson, Arnett, Enyart, and Rudd, obviously, all scoreless outings.
Yeah, and like you said, after that last at-bat by Martell Davis, fouling out with the bunt, definitely wanted to make up for it. And being a former second baseman myself, I know how difficult of a play that is. Ranging into the hole, you have an awkward shorthand throw. You almost wish you were a lefty when that ball comes out of the slot. But for Davis, being the righty that he is, had to turn his body, and he made a great throw. So we won't take a break. We'll just go ahead and wrap this up for you guys right now. I know it's been a little bit of a longer game in terms of what we're used to, so we'll go ahead and get you guys out of here soon. But Will, just one last comment before we give the line totals. This team, the Bucs, have not been bad this month at all. I know we keep harping on the runs are really hard to come by, but now 8-5 this month. It's just a team that has finally found a rough patch, and maybe they're getting past it.
Yeah, I mean, where the batting has kind of let them down, the pitchers have picked up that slack. 15 strikeouts from this staff behind 9 from Wyatt Halverson, who pitched those first 4 innings for Halverson, and then everyone who came in after him just did their job. Arnett coming in for multiple innings, and then just the one from Enyart and the one from Andrew Rudd, and everybody did their job.
Yep, exactly. And when everyone does their job, usually that ends up in a victory. And it was tonight for the Bucs. They get a shutout for the Oilers. No runs on 5 hits and 2 costly errors. For the Bucs, 2 runs on 6 hits and no errors. Some clean baseball. The Bucs take it 2-0. Looking ahead, they've got no off days anymore. Tomorrow we will play the Pilots. That is a 6 o'clock game. No, Chinooks tomorrow. I'm getting a little too ahead of myself. We have that doubleheader in a couple of days. Really antsy about that, Will. But the Bucs play the Chinooks. That's a home game here at Mulcahy Stadium at 6 p.m. Once again, the final score 2-0. The Bucs take it. For my partner, Will Hopkins, I'm Vic Massley, saying so long and good night from Mulcahy Stadium. The Bucs win.